This is what it sounded like in my house for like. Ashley, that is the weirdest laugh I've ever seen.
I was trying to silent laugh because it was so quiet.
Yo, you just missed her face, see? Yo, you just missed Ashley's face.
Damn it.
That was really weird. I ain't gonna lie, Ashley.
Because
she was like
just
silently.
did a prayer.
No, I wasn't praying. I was like just taking it in. I was like taking the moment of having my friends back. Like in, I was gonna like make a joke like, yeah, all that silence is what I heard like every day without you guys. Like every Sunday, I would sit in that chair and look at the podcast table like, hello, darkness, my old friend.
Slowly slip into madness.
I thought that he was praying like, please let me still have it.
First off, it's
She said, let me still have it.
Butter will put he will push record whether he has it or not.
Yeah, as previous episodes have shown you.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter if I'm fumbling. He'll
be like this. He'll be like, guys, welcome to the Short Burks Modbast, and then like hit stop and be like, nailed it. Another one in the tank, guys.
I do know my neighbor's probably like, fuck, they're back at it again. Shit. I was trying to figure out when was the last time we met, and then I just got tired of looking for like an episode where it was me, you, all of us plus Ed, and I was like, I think it was like last time was like February. I had a number, but the last time I think was episode 234, Fetish Con. That episode where we learned about George Perez retiring and whatnot. But there have been a couple episodes where it's been like different groupings of us, et cetera, et cetera. Unfortunately, we don't have Ed with us this episode, but I'm hoping maybe in the next week or two we can all get back to normal. But let me go ahead and kick us off. Let me see if I still got it, Ashley. Yo, Shortbox Nation. Welcome to episode 251. We are back. No more live shows. No more random interviews. No more, specific episodes. Just a good Sunday crew episode. I am joined by my man, Cesar Cordero.
Greetings.
Ashley Lanny Hoy.
Hello.
And a special audience guest member, Shaggy Black, is in the building. Shaggy Black.
Yo.
I don't know if
I said don't talk, man.
Actually, Shaggy, if you want, I'll go ahead and turn the mic on. You could just kind of chime in where applicable, man. Come on in, man. You're family. Come on. I think you're that mic, but
he's like, he says, I'll turn it on. Lightly pushes button, doesn't turn it on. Winks at everyone else. This is like
I still got it.
Like Metallica and Justice for All, the bass is turned all the way down.
Yeah. So in this instance, our boy Shaggy Black's gonna be filling in for our fourth chair. So yeah, man. It's been a minute. I will say this. We are now officially in season 6. Episode 250 came out. And I'll gotta say this. The episode 250 I put out, which was the audio for the Creepshow live show, was only used because the real episode 250, unfortunately, got lost. It was a drunken... Oh, Ashley.
I didn't hear about this.
I think you and Ed both couldn't make it or had to work. But
Ashley, I have to tell you, it was probably the best episode ever recorded of the Shortbox podcast, and lost now forever in the annals of time and digital.
I think only thing that's left of it is like 8 or 9 minutes.
Yeah. But those 8 or 9 minutes, quite possibly.
And I'm holding on to it because, Ashley, when I found out that the audio just stopped working, I almost cried at my computer. Like I straight up almost, I teared up real bad. And then I almost punched my computer because I couldn't figure it out. But it was essentially just me, Cesar, Drew, and Walt drunk recounting like the origins of the podcast. I don't know what happened. I don't know. Lost it.
It was so good.
Yeah.
It was so good. The mixer
was like, yo, son, y'all wild.
The file got corrupted because of how pure it was.
Which I won't lie, there was a story or two that me and Drew did not think would ever see the light of day, but Cesar snitched on us, so I'm kind of glad that we did not keep that recording. But we might bring it. I'm thinking we might do something for episode 300, like something big.
Oh, I'm snitching on all y'all.
Trust me. He's gonna bust out the FBI files. Anyways, man, I want to go ahead and start off by saying a special shout out to our new Patreon members. That's right. Our Patreon finally launched. We've got bonus episodes. We've got some goodies on there. So check it out, patreon.com/theshortbox. And we've got a few folks that went ahead and joined despite kind of like me kind of keeping the promotion at kind of a minimum level. But we've got Nick Wagner as a patron, the inaugural Saint patron. He's the first one to sign up.
Saint Wagner.
Yeah. Ooh.
I like it.
Saint Wagner.
Lilies grow where he bleeds, motherfucker. That's some Hellboy deep cut shits for you.
So shout outs to Nick Wagner, a Patreon member with the first one. Shout outs to Chris Milbrook, man.
Yes.
Our very own honorary Shortbox member, Chris, is a Shortbox, proud Shortbox patron. Corey Torgerson is supporting the show as well.
Captain Kaiju himself.
Yeah. Joshua Pickett is a patron as well. Of course. Shout outs to him. Darby.
No.
Come on. Why'd you say it like that?
That's so cool. She's so cool.
She is.
That is cool.
She is. I can't wait for Darby's Dungeon to open up. We'll definitely do something for there. And we've also, as you mentioned, we've Austin Wade Ellis joined our Shortbox list of patrons as well just yesterday.
That dude is cool.
Yeah, shout outs to all of them, man. And special shout out, a happy birthday shout out to our good friend Matt Stinson.
Yep. Oh, man, you beat me to it. Yes.
Shout outs to Matt, a.k.a. local sword wielding badass.
Matt Attack.
Oh, yo, Matt Attack, son.
Yeah, baby.
OG.
So shout outs to our Patreon subscribers. Shout outs to Matt and his birthday. And I want to say once again, man, check us out on Patreon if you want bonus episodes. We're also giving away like some stuff as well, like a short box welcome package and some other stuff. But you can find that information out on our Patreon website. We've also got a couple of voicemails and emails to play too from the likes of Blake, John Luna, Joshua Pickett, Justin, and some new folks too. We'll play that at the second half after our music break. So let's see what else. I got that out of the way. What's everyone been up to, man? I think it's been. I think the last time we all saw each other was at the Straight Chillin' Creep Show live show, which was fantastic. I don't think we all had a chance to like really kind of celebrate and kind of digest that because we all had to depart. But I had a great time, man, and I think the crowd that showed up was really solid. It was really cool to meet a lot of folks in person, like John Luna.
Sure. Yeah. It was. I guess I'll chime in. I haven't been really doing too much except trying to dodge Bodder's excitement at the fact that I paid for the Marvel Unlimited app.
Oh my God!
And
Nice.
Our old man is growing down.
Stop.
Like, whatever that is.
Stop. Growing down.
Benjamin Button.
Like
he's catching up with the times.
I was like, I don't have a boner right now. Right now, but I shelled out for the money because Bodder showed me a hustle on how to basically like, you can get that money back. And I'm like, what? He's like, I'll show you the ropes.
I taught him how to like rebate. Apparently,
but well worth it. And this is coming from and this isn't like I'm not getting paid by Marvel to say this, but if you want to catch up in a very fast way and also kind of enjoy all the back issues, it's ridiculous. This Marvel Unlimited app has like every freaking back issue you could think of, and it's in high definition. If you could read it on your phone, you could read it on your iPad. I've been having a real good time basically just catching up with some other stuff, fairly newer events. Like I think I sent you a text bar that I was reading Original Sin, and I'm stupid excited for Hickman's run on X-Men. That's going to be that's going to be epic.
I can't wait to go into the shop every I think it's a bi-monthly book. I can't wait to go in the shop just to pick it up.
Right.
Like I've been finding more and more reasons to go back into the shop to pick up current stuff. And to kind of piggyback off I think the Marvel Unlimited app, and that, once again, this is just kind of for everyone that isn't too aware of it. I think it's the best value for your money.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's not just a matter of I can read comics digitally and I can read newer stuff digitally as well. It's the idea that it's so accessible and it's the easiest bang for your buck. Like I don't know, man. I feel it, how do I say this without sounding like a complete Marvel shill?
Come on,
Bodder's like, just do it. Just do it.
Nothing wrong with sound like a Marvel shill.
He's like, just do it. Tattoos an M on my head. That freaking like Days of Future Past instead of mutants, just a red M on my forehead.
That look he gave you just when you're saying it. He's like, do it.
If eyes could drool.
One of us.
It's fuck. You got me sidetracked. What was I saying?
It's the best bang for your buck.
Oh, it made me feel like back in the day when comic books used to have the mail-in, $12, and you'll get your yearly subscription of comics to come to you in the mail. And this is the closest I've ever been to feeling like that, because it was like I basically paid $10 a month to get basically the entire Marvel universe, comic book wise, at my fingertips.
Well said.
So
well said.
I am a true. Bar always makes the jokes like, "Yo, see, you're back. You made it. Like you've turned into a beautiful butterfly from the caterpillar curmudgeon you once were." And I'll be like, "Man, don't say that. I gotta let people think I'm still an asshole. I can't let people think that Grinch has a heart." So,
Ashley, what you been up to?
So I was living that Hawaii life for a little bit.
Yo, once again, I want to give you major props for hopping off that plane and then going straight to do a live show in front of however many people were.
Yeah,
it was a
actually
good
still
bit of people.
smelled like coconuts.
I was so
You're tan.
tired.
I was looking at the pictures that Mark took. Shout out to Mark, by the way, for taking those pics. And I was like, damn, her glow. She was just glowing. And how was Hawaii?
It was amazing. Yeah, I just went to the beach every day and
Living
it
it
was
up.
so nice.
How's it been being back? Because that's always the part for me that I'm like,
I had to go back to work. So that's the worst part. But yeah, I've just been working and enjoying my DC Universe Unlimited app.
Ooh, okay. Which I'm waiting for C to hop on that one next.
So
I figured it was probably the next logical step.
It's the. I don't know, man. It's got different things, right? So like, let me ask you this, Ashley. So you have the DC app.
Yeah.
What's the back issue catalog like? Like, is it like on everything you can think of? Like, hit the search bar if I want to look up, Ennis's run on Hitman. Will it come up or something like that? Or
So I'm pretty new to it. So far, I've just read Grant Morrison's Doom Patrol.
Oh, nice.
Which in itself is like huge.
It is. I have those hard copy, and I just got them, and I'm ready to read them.
Yeah, I haven't looked far enough into it to see. I know there's cause there's things like Jeff Johns' Green Lantern, which
course.
went on for forever, and I'll never buy it.
Right.
So I'm interested to see if that's on there because that'd be worth it in itself just to read all that.
Sure. Yeah. Did you read Dark Knight's Metal?
I was still working at the comic shop when it came out, and I read some of it, but I didn't consistently read it.
I recommend it only because I thought it was just a Batman-centric thing. I didn't know it was an entire DC Universe thing. So if you're into the Jeff, like as far as like you mentioned Jeff Johns and like the epic scale of how his writing touched every bit of the DC Universe.
Yeah.
Snyder kind of did that too. I mean, Snyder, this guy. It's like he's like dropping the mic on everybody, like So the DC Unlimited app is taking up most of your time besides Hawaii.
Besides working and
working.
Hawaii, yeah.
And preventing us from becoming the dog podcast is
exactly.
Butter at the gates as always.
One day we're close. We're real close. We've done a lot of different spin-off podcasts, the tryouts on this show.
Welcome to Racism Cast.
Aside from the Creep Show live show, turned 30. That was like a 2-week fiasco of like debauchery and adventure. And I went to Vegas for the first time in Zion National Park. Highly recommend Zion.
Lord have mercy.
And I highly recommend Vegas too, only because it felt like everything I like about Epcot and going to Disney, but
Rated R.
Yeah, exactly. like everything's like fabricated.
It was
and
like Disney, but with titties. Jesus, Potter.
essentially, I can say this stuff now.
For
now
God's sake.
It was. I mean, it's sort of like when you step into Disney and their whole goal is to everything is detailed out and then well thought out, fabricated. It's like you're walking into a different world, and the goal is to make sure that you're not thinking about I'm at a resort. It's here. I'm just kind of in a different world, and that's how I felt going to Vegas. Was like everything was about entertainment. Like I kind of got it. I was like, okay, Vegas's main economy is like entertainment. Everything is about making you pay for
sex,
being entertained.
What? Oh yeah.
What Vegas did you go to? But it was fun. But Zion National Park, I highly recommend if you get a chance to be around the Utah area, go to Zion, man. It is absolutely breathtaking. And there was not even an hour that went by anytime I was there. While I was there, that I didn't say, holy shit, can you believe we're here? So like every moment on the hour. Holy shit, can you believe all these mountains around us?
So I got a question. So I picked your IG too. Were you was that the place you were also terrified on that hike?
Yo, okay. So Zion's got a bunch of trails, and there's one called Angel's Landing. And there was a few, like, there's a couple trails that lead to Angel's Landing. And two of them were, like, closed, so we had to do the hardest one, which is called, like, the West Rim Trail. It was, like, a fucking 2-hour hike. And that's just to get to, like, Angel's Landing, which is, like, this very high point on this mountain. And you have the option of going even higher on the tip of this, I guess, like, mountainside. And you have to essentially, like, crawl the side of this mountain top using these chains, like, at an angle. And there's only one chain, and you got people coming up and down.
Whoa.
And my dumb ass, hold on. So we hiked, whatever, the hour and a half to the top, to the base, and Blythe was like, okay, I'm good.
She's like, now put these chains around your neck, butter.
No.
I need 100 black coffins for 100 bad men.
Apparently, when I go on vacation, my skin tone becomes a lot more paler. Like, and my mindset, my mindset.
So that's why I realized.
Shit.
That's why I realized it, because my blackness, like, my black radar just kicked in of danger.
Yeah.
As soon as I saw that bar, I was like, nah, no way.
I actually did the opposite. I was like, oh, that don't look too tough. Look at that. Yeah,
Ashley's blackness just kicked in.
Exactly. She the looks.
She was like, nah, son.
So I mean, we got up there to the base, and I was like, kind of watching people go up and down the chains. I was like, oh, that actually doesn't look too hard. And
super Caucasian.
And we went the week after Memorial Day, and everyone was like, oh, this is, like, really light. Like, normally it's a ton. There's a line to crawl up this, like, side of this mountain and do this fence. So I was like, oh, let's just do it. So we started doing it, and I swear to God, in the middle of it, anxiety started kicking in, panic attack started kicking in. I was like, and I looked at life. I was like,
but you're the amazing Spider-Man, Potter.
Why are we doing this? And she looked at me like, you wanted to do this, so we finishing this.
First off, shouts out to
I have never.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm glad she didn't record any of it, because I was bitching like a scared fucking kid the whole time. Matter of fact, so it's like you get to the base, and then you climb up some chains, and you get to, like, another base that's scary as shit, and then there's an option to go even higher to this very tippy top point. We did not do that part. I said, no, we're not doing that part. We are, and look, and normally, like, when you got people coming down as you're going up, you know, you got to figure out.
They have, like, levels of, like,
Oh my
like
God,
scaredness. Like,
just,
it was base 1, base 2, and then, like, white people at Everest.
No. And I'll just be straight up. Everyone walking down telling us, yo, you just got to push through. It's so worth it. We're all Caucasian. Like, I'm sorry, 100%. Like, this is factual. 100% all Caucasian telling us, like, just, it is so worth it. Oh my God, the breath. There was a few, at some point I just got tired of it. I said, no, it's not worth it. We're going back down.
It's like some accidental racism comes out, like, get to the top. Like, yeah, we conquered it. You know what I'm saying? We rule. We dominated it.
So no,
like,
it was.
We're still talking about a mountain?
Our burden is this.
Yeah.
It was fun as shit. I recommend it. Scary as balls, but what other way to bring in 30 than that, I guess?
When the best part.
To die at 30. That's what that's what we're literally trying to do.
Angel's Landing is appropriate, because when you land, you see the angels for real.
And actually, I told Blythe, I was like, if anyone asks, I'm going to tell them it was your idea, because it's way more believable.
You're like, let them know I wasn't a bitch.
Let them know I made it to the top.
I'm sitting there looking at your ID, and that was proving everything that I had right. It's like a wise man once said, white folks are only having fun when their lives are in danger. And I'm sitting there, and I'm just like, that's some shit that I would never, I mean, I would want to experience, the hike especially. But
I haven't told my mom or dad.
She's like, that's not true, guys. Meanwhile, she's wrestling jellyfish in Hawaii.
She's like, I feel seen.
I'm doing, there's goat yoga and jellyfish wrestling at 9 this morning. I'll see you guys later.
Besides nearly dying at 30. Thank you, Shaggy.
Hold on. Let me say another thing. When we were invited graciously to your parents' house,
oh yeah, I had to beat it.
Your brothers were killing me talking about cuss words and how, like, those were the, like, every time you said a cuss word in front of your parents and you didn't get in trouble, it was like a PlayStation achievement unlock. Yeah. And I was like, yo, you unlocked that word? I'm still trying to unlock it in front of my parents.
All right. Well, I'll share this last story, then we can get into the bulk of it. As kids, damn it, you know what? I was driving one day thinking about all the stories I've shared on this show, and I'm like, how many of them do I regret now that they're out in the open? You know how many people stop me like, hey, binder, right? I'm like, no. As kids, we definitely weren't allowed to say curse words. My mom would lose her shit. But as we got older, I would occasionally slip like damn or hell, And if I got away with it without being smacked upside the side of the head, my little brother Isaac would chime in like in the background, curse word unlocked. So he would do that, just as I got older, and I'd visit the house where I'd say some words, and eventually, when I turned 30 2 weeks ago, he was like, "Congratulations, all the curse words are unlocked for you."
It's a huge achievement. That's a huge achievement.
Yeah, man.
Platinum status.
But as far as like what I've been reading or watching, I've been watching like a lot of documentaries on Netflix. There's or just documentaries. Period. There's a really good one called Grass is Greener, and it's about just marijuana in the industry and like the history of it pertaining to like the government. It was really good, eye opening. I was watching HBO's got a 2-part Muhammad Ali documentary that's really damn good too. I highly recommend that.
Huh.
And there's a Air Jordan 1 documentary that I watched. Yeah, that shit was great.
Of course you did.
I went ahead and hugged all my Jordans.
Did you see the Wu-Tang documentary?
I have not yet.
Yeah,
I have
okay.
not.
I haven't either.
But I feel like they've been milking the shit out of all
what?
these. There's so many Wu-Tang documentaries.
There is the primary Wu-Tang documentary is the one on Showtime.
Sure.
That one is of I think it's of Wu and Men.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Mice and Men or
something.
That's
something.
great.
Yeah, like it's kind of a play on Mice and Men.
Sure.
I haven't got a chance to check it out because I've been busy, but I was like, I need to watch.
So, like, does the
principle.
RZA escort, like, old dirty bastard out to a field, and he's like, yo, think about them rabbits, kid. Yo, think about them rabbits. And he's like, oh, yeah, I'm going to think about them rabbits. Oh, yeah. Shimmy, shimmy, bah. And then shoots
That
him
might
in
be
the head.
the best movie pitch I've ever heard.
Dude, I would love
Yeah,
to
I
see
need it.
that
Yeah,
movie.
yeah.
It's
I
the
need-
Great
Yo,
Depression.
write that down.
It's the
Write that down.
RZA.
Write that down. Keep
Maybe
that.
like Method Man's there. He's like, yo, you guys got to get ready. It
But
ain't easy.
I heard the one on Showtime that you're talking about is really good.
That's the one.
Like, I heard it's
That's the
4
one.
parts, and they don't shy away from like talking about like the kind of like beef and like this the turmoil within the group.
In-house. I think they do go over when it was I think You God and Method Man fought in like it was Summer Jam like 92. I can't remember exactly
It's
when.
so funny.
It was
It's
they
just a
fought
superhero
in,
group.
It's a bunch
It
of
literally
superhero.
is. It literally, they fought in a backstage of a concert. They literally fought, and then after they finished, they went out and performed.
Dorks.
It was like
But and I've heard that like there's a few stories where they talk about like where frictions got really high, but it's always been about family. Where it's
That's
like,
what happens
we'll
when you name
we'll just fight it out.
That's what happens when you name yourselves after
You got-
Marvel characters. Like Johnny Blaze, Tony Stark. Like, you're going to have
Yeah.
Avengers infighting.
You're right,
Of course
yeah.
you are.
a lot of it. It's-
And as far as like my comics, man, I've been trying to, now that we kind of got the live show marathon done, I've been trying to just catch back up on like weekly comics. So, and none of these are my champions, but so hopefully it kind of speaks to how much I'm kind of getting back into it. But I've been following up on Nick Spencer's Amazing Spider-Man run. It's really good, especially this past Kraven the Hunter one called Hunted. Ben from Gotham City Limit actually got me onto that, and it's really good. Jason Aaron's Conan run is fucking awesome. I really recommend that. It's only like 5 issues in so far, and then I've been on an Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips
Dude, you have,
kick,
man.
and one of the Fade Out is my champion. I'll talk more about that, but I started Incognito on the plane to Vegas, and it is so those guys like.
Oh, you never read it before?
No, I've never read Incognito. I've never read Fade Out. I did try to read Fatale, and I
Yes.
just couldn't get into it. That's the
Hey,
only one I just can't get
That's
into.
like deep cuts Lovecraft. Unless you're into
Yeah.
that,
Yeah,
not
good
gonna-
point,
You're
good
not
point.
going to like it.
Fade Out is. I'll save that. But Incognito is really good. So I've just been catching up on like comics. And I think the last comic I read was the old Dark Horse DC Comics team up of
dude.
Batman, Hellboy, and Starman.
Oh yeah,
It is so good.
Yeah.
It's like fun, man. Like
Yes.
it was good. It's been fun catching up on comic books. I will say that. So I think that's a good. I think we did a good job of catching up. I'm glad that everyone's doing really well and enjoying content again or whatnot. So I was thinking for this episode, since it has been a minute since we all gathered together, and a lot of things have happened as far as like headlines that we just haven't had a chance to discuss. I figured why not use this time to really kind of dive deep into some of these headlines that have happened within the past month. So we'll go ahead and start our short box story segment. So which go around the table. I know a few of us have some unique headlines and articles, etc. Ashley, you had a pretty good one, and it's pretty recent too, as far as Deadly Class and Happy being canceled. You got any information?
Yeah. So it was just a few days ago, and it sucks so bad because so the first season of Deadly Class I thought was good, but there's such a big arc coming up in the comic that I wanted to see so bad. And it's so frustrating.
You and me both.
Yeah.
And I feel so hurt. That was me and my girlfriend's favorite show. We'll watch. I got her into it after reading the books. And it's like, the show's coming. So she read all the books before the show started.
What was the arc pertaining to?
So they kind of set it up where the new kids coming into King's Dominion are either rats who are just, random orphan kids that come up, or I forget the name they use, but they're kids from
Street rats?
No, they're the
I guess it kinda-
buy that.
but it's like kids that come from hierarchy, kids that come from like Yakuza kids and like Dixie Mafia kids.
Oh, okay.
FBI.
Yeah.
So made
Yeah.
kids,
Yeah.
basically.
But there's this amazing storyline coming up that it's canceled, but they're trying to get somebody else to pick it up. So we'll see. Same thing for Happy. I guess Happy.
That hurts my heart.
Happy
man.
has given me so much joy.
So
Just
good.
Christopher Maloney, just so good. But I guess it's been doing amazing on Netflix. So they're trying to get Netflix to pick it up for the third season.
Okay.
Wait, I'm sorry. For Deadly Class, what was the reason exactly?
They canceled a bunch of stuff. I think it was just ratings.
It was ratings more than fluid because sci-fi typically is like almost like Fox in a sense. They'll get a show, and if it doesn't perform to their standards, they will cancel it. So that's because I know they were trying to push the show as much as possible. Rick Remender was literally tweeting out like the last episode to say, "Hey, please, please,
For that
tell your
last
friends,
push.
tell your friends to watch this because if we don't, or they cancel it, they're going to cancel it." He was literally trying to, case in point, champion it before they got rid of it off the air, and sadly, that's what happened. I found out, and I was high key upset.
You know what I like about Shaggy? I mean, he stopped by to pick up a comic book, but he just is always like up to date with shit. Like I was expecting like, oh damn, I probably should have thought about inviting him this and that, but goddamn, Shaggy, you're
I'm always
up
ready to
date.
go, son.
So, I mean, so you're saying that there's a possibility that something like Netflix might pick up Happy?
Yeah, so both those shows are trying to find new homes. I'm worried about Deadly Class, honestly, but I did read that Happy has been getting like crazy rewatches on Netflix.
Cool.
Since it moved on there. It's like there's a certain category. It was like #1 for watches in that category.
I'm
Damn,
one of
that's
those
cool.
guys.
Yeah, and I would love for it to go there.
Actually, Nick Wagner was the one that told me about Happy.
And then Cesar told me, and I really enjoyed it too.
It's amazing. It's so weird.
And I guess I feel a little guilty because when it comes to just like shows, I'm at a point where I'm like, I'll just wait for all of it to be gathered. And I wonder if that's hurting it. I'm sure it is because, I mean,
Yeah.
those ratings are...
Kind of, sort of.
Old school TV.
Especially when you got a series. I mean, Deadly Class and Happy both are, I guess what would the word be, serialized, where it comes out weekly? Is
Yeah.
that? No, I don't know if serialized is the right word.
Yeah.
Whatever, program TVs.
It's episodic.
Yeah,
Episodic.
thank you, episodic. But I mean, both of them are episodic, right? So those ratings would matter because they're not coming out. It's sort of like comic books and trades. There's so many comic series that get canceled because there's so many people are waiting on trade. Well, trade waiters in a way impact comic book series being canceled because as a publisher, I'm looking at the numbers, and I imagine as a studio, TV studio, I'm looking at the numbers too, where it's like, well, damn, the numbers are low. I'm not reopening it for a season
but
two.
that's again, if you're smart, you'll just go to a Netflix or an Amazon or a Hulu and have your show produced by those people, or find a way to do it. Otherwise, it is going to be a death knell for your show, whatever it is.
See, and there's a counter argument to that. Another thing that stopped Deadly Class, other than Happy, was
The story.
no, actually,
I want to talk so much shit.
Well, tell me.
I'm
I'm surprised, Cesar.
No. I've been keeping my mouth shut.
No.
I'm waiting everyone to speak their piece. But that fucking story.
When I saw the headline, first thing I thought about was like,
I was like, not
C is-
surprised.
Like C is like
Not surprised. But that's why I asked Ashley. I was like, "What's the story that you're excited about?" That like, I wish they. From what you're telling me, that sounds more interesting than anything going on in the first season. I want to see where they basically say like, oh, by the way, I don't give a shit about. One, the characters aren't sympathetic enough for me to give a shit about because they're pieces of shit to begin with. But if you level the playing field from the get-go, like you start off the show saying, oh, by the way, like Tarantino does, everybody else in this, everyone in this show needs to die. There's not a good person in this show. Don't try and like add like, oh, but there's shades of morality. No. They're all fucking murderers. Let's not twist it everything. Like this school is for people that kill for a living, and they're trying to gather the best of the best.
Except
now,
really.
If you make, well, I'm just saying, but if you make a case where it's like the Yakuza, like I like that, where it's like there's a have and have-nots even in like organized crime. Of course there is, right? So it's like there's the Yakuza, there's the fucking the mafia, there's the Irish mob, like everybody, even like white trash, like they got they've got their hierarchy of whatever, but they all have money. And then you have like the freaking people that are like just straight up like mugging dudes on the street, and they get there because they just have raw talent. That's cool. Like that's interesting because you're like, oh shit, well, I don't have to, you know, I'm not these people, but I'm interested in this world. Like I wouldn't build a show as let's focus on the characters. Fuck the characters, sell the world, because the characters aren't new. Like I said, Tarantino's done that shit 5 million times before, and he does it the best. Fucking Martin Scorsese does it all the time. He just, I don't know. I just never found any of these characters sympathetic.
Let me ask you this: how many episodes did you end up watching?
4.
Okay, 4.
Yeah, there was a term.
Like I tried. Like I'm like I can't. Like I fucking, and also fuck this new high, like freaking over stylized, like
we back, baby, we back.
ridiculous rose colored glasses look of the 80s. Nothing in the 80s looked like it does on this fucking show. You want to know what the 80s look like? Go outside your house. Things have not changed that much. Architecture has not changed. Nothing. Dude, I lived for the fucking 80s. There was no neon everywhere I went to. Nobody was driving DeLoreans everywhere listening to fucking Aha or like Public Enemy. That was fringy shit even then. Like, it was like everybody was listening to either Madonna or fucking shitty ass music for then. I'm sorry. I can't. That's another reason why. Also, yeah.
I want to hear Shaggy's.
Don't even get me fucking started on Stranger Things either.
No.
They're guilty as well.
I want to hear Shaggy's counter argument.
See, I'm totally interested in this because I want to go get him the James Brown coat and just put him on. So you can just,
But here's the thing. Here's the thing about that is, and I'm only guilty of watching the pilot episode of Deadly Class, so that's all I have to base the show. But the comic books does all of that you mentioned, where they flesh out these characters, where you're like, oh damn, they're not bad kids.
I have a feeling that Remender's,
their parents were shit.
Yeah, Remender's comics are more. It's a different theme. I'm not talking about the comic. I'm just talking about the show.
Sure.
Like as a show, you know, man, fucking Remender's done some of the best comic books I've ever read. Period. Like his Uncanny X-Men was ridiculous. Uncanny X-Force and Uncanny Avengers is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, forget it.
So it's with that saying, and you just proved my point. The difference between Happy and Deadly Class, you could not find Deadly Class anywhere to stream other than Sci-Fi's webpage.
There you go.
Everybody else's, like you either had to have cable or you couldn't find it anywhere streamed.
I will admit, I did not like that.
It's only a matter of time then before Sci-Fi gets chomped up by somebody else, a Disney, a Hulu, a Netflix, or something.
We own Sci-Fi. And I say NBC, Comcast, Universal.
Oh, well, I mean, Universal. There you go.
Yeah, so they already have it. But at the same time, if you don't have those type of products, you're willing to find it as low. Happy has been on there, and I say that it's funny because I watch Happy during the Christmas season, and now I'm like, hey, I need to watch this every Christmas now.
So you're saying it's your fault then, huh?
A little bit.
This motherfucker.
A little bit. Just tiny.
Get him, guys.
All right, smidgen. So ask me that ski mask.
So it sounds like Happy is more likely to be picked up by an external provider or app or service.
Yeah, service.
Because it already exists.
Because it's a better show.
And Netflix.
Yeah, it's a better show.
Deadly
you say
Class.
that they actually
yes, I did.
They had to do a lot. Like Rick Remender had to. You couldn't get away with half that shit going on in his book for Sci-Fi.
I don't know about that.
If it was HBO,
I will chime in and say the stuff I saw in Happy in just episode 1 and 2, I was like, oh, this is.
And you saw Happy on what platform?
Netflix.
Yeah. Exactly.
But it was on Sci-Fi.
It was on Sci-Fi, but they edited. They have the uncut. They showed on those episodes. When you watch sci-fi at a later date, they like.
But
cool.
Am I watching happy for the violence? No, it's just a good story. Now, if the story's good enough, people ain't gonna give a shit.
I'm watching Happy for the Violence.
Okay, good. I can say that too now. Do you think that either one of these shows will have? Because it reminds me of what you call it, Family Guy, where it got canceled and then came back because a fan kind of out.
That more
support.
or less has, but that's a Fox scheduling thing because.
Yeah, that's right. It was scheduled at
and
a
Firefly, both and X-Files at one point all
Damn,
got.
It was around that time.
They all got the time slot of death, which is Friday nights at 8. Nobody is at home Friday at 8 o'clock. Typically, everyone wants to go out. It's the weekend. Hey, I'm off of work. Let's do something, right? Nobody's watching TV. So Firefly, 1 season, you're out of here. Family Guy, 1 season, you're out of here. But Adult Swim started airing it. Then
That's
the
right.
DVD sales went up, and everybody was like,
Let's bring the shit
why
back.
did this show get canceled? Like this was freaking hilarious.
Ashley, you think that'll happen with either one of these properties?
Happy's.
I feel
Happy's
like
gonna get picked
Happy's
up.
gonna get picked up for sure.
Yeah.
I just worry about Deadly Class.
Because I feel
really
like I
do.
saw a headline that said Deadly Class was like bringing in the numbers.
Yeah, I'm not worried.
Because now I'm like, well, did I misread it? Or, I mean, were the ratings, or not the ratings, but the viewership numbers that bad? That low?
I remember Rick Remender tweeting that the
Yeah,
actual viewings weren't great, but there were a lot of rewatches.
Oh, okay.
That streaming, not the streaming, but the where you where you're recording,
Like the
you're picking up later.
Xfinity
Yep.
and stuff like that.
When
Like
you're
people
watching
would
it
go
later.
watch it later.
That's my fault because I would watch it on Wednesday and
You were putting a lot of this on your shoulders.
Hey, bro. Now that I work for now that I'm a part of the evil empire, I understand everything now.
It's nobody's fault. It's you don't have to watch any of this shit.
No, it's just how, but it's just explaining. It's just that if I watch it in that sense, I watch it with my lady.
This isn't
on
a
Saturday.
grassroots political movement, like Remender's going to be fine.
No, he'll be fine. It just sucks to me because I actually really enjoyed the show, and I would have liked to. Yeah, don't. It's all right. It's all good. No, I really enjoyed the show, and I wanted to see it succeed. When I see shit shows out there that still get pushed, and I'm like, how? Yes, I'm talking about you, Power. Fuck you,
Power.
Yes. Go 50 Cent's Power. Yeah, you know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
I do.
Yeah, you know
Never
what I'm
watched
talking-
it.
Don't.
Because it just looked like shit. But
But anyway, no, it's when I see stuff like that, it just bothers me. But I understand. I understand how.
I mean, I guess coming from that angle, I'm sure there are other shows out there I would rather not be on, and maybe Deadly Class be on. I can meet you there. I'll meet you halfway.
I understand.
so let me piggyback about this cancel. Well, actually, Ashley, did you have anything else to chime in or share? I'm sorry.
No, that was it.
Okay,
Yeah.
let me piggyback off talking about shows being canceled this Thursday.
Don't say
the
it.
news of Swamp Thing,
Dude.
not being canceled. Well, I guess.
Did you watch it?
I didn't know. I forgot it came out.
I did.
Well, it was during
I
like
did
my trip.
too.
It was during my trip, and I forgot.
I did
so,
too.
So I'll ask you
Yeah.
guys your opinion. But Thursday, the news of Swamp Thing being canceled, not picked up for a second season, came out, and I know for a lot of folks, it was like, wait, Swamp Thing. Didn't it just come out?
Mm-hmm.
So it came out. First episode appeared on the DC Universe app Friday, May 31st, and the news came out Thursday, June 6th. Right now, if you go on, which is surprising because if you go on Rotten Tomatoes, it's sitting at 92%, which that could take it how you like. I just wanted to share that. This is a show produced by James Wan's Atomic Monster production company.
Yep.
It boasted a cast consisting of folks like Crystal Reed, Virginia Madsen, Andy Bean, Derek Mears, Will Patton. So it was just a little surprising that off the bat, this news came out, and I think a lot of folks were trying to point at maybe the pilot episode was really bad, but
It was
I'm
amazing.
hearing. Okay,
It's-
I was going to
it's
ask.
great.
Shaggy, do you want to chime in? What you think about?
Yes. So I know you, my friend. See,
Have you
are
seen
a
it?
horror geek?
Yeah.
You're
Damn,
a,
that's okay. All
you're
right,
a
I'll watch
hor-
it.
You're a horror
geek
geek like myself. There is so much of that good shit.
That Evil
so
Dead
wait,
hospital
yes.
scene.
I'm going to also say though, I'm also not surprised that they're deciding to cancel it as well.
Oh no!
Only because, well, here's the only thing is only because it's so right now with Game of Thrones and shows like even like let's use the Netflix platform's successful TV show like Daredevil, right, or the first season of The Punisher, where like you have the way people are getting used to being told a story, right? People are getting used to being told a story instead of it being episodic, like 3 acts in one episode, done, with a subplot. It's like, no, people are now shooting 18-hour-long movies where, like, it's just now, it's like because everyone's binging, right?
Yeah.
And hey, I do that as well. I think where Swamp Thing dropped the ball was that they didn't shoot it like that. Because when I got done watching the first episode, I don't know, maybe this might be my own experience, but it felt like I watched an old school television show where it was like Act 1, Act 2, Act 3, cliffhanger. Stick around for next week, kids, and it'll come out.
Yeah.
As opposed to like one cohesive story for like the whole season, and then it just ends. It's just chopped up in 18 episodes. So like it won't like, it'll just end like on a weird note where you're like, oh shit, well I guess I better watch the next one because I'm binging it, and then it'll pick up right where I left off. This felt like it felt too old school, and I think I don't think people consciously realized it was happening, but I think subconsciously they were like, this isn't like 18-hour long movie. I don't like this.
I really wish that was the reason why they canceled. And if you, and Ashley, do you know the reason why they
Yeah, I was
canceled
going to chime
The
in.
North Carolina.
Yeah.
No, well, time out.
Oh.
That is not the case.
Really?
So wait. So let me give the listeners some,
Let's give the
background.
background here.
So the North Carolina thing. Someone, and this is kind of like a bigger commentary on just like misinformation and a lot of people just kind of running with someone that sounds smart instead of like getting the facts. So someone on Twitter, let me see if I could get this guy named Guy Gasser, director. No, I'm sorry, that is the wrong one. All right, I'm sorry. It's this dude named Austin. He's a writer. I'm sorry. He's a Austin-based writer and cartoonist named John Golson. He was blaming the show's demise on this tax credit that I guess WB was supposed to get shooting in North Carolina, right? North Carolina, yeah.
Yes, it was North Carolina.
They filmed the
Take your
the
shirt
show.
off. Wait a minute. Sorry.
Which,
Sorry.
if there's no Petey Pablo reference like
Took
that,
me every
automatically
ounce of me not to do
F.
that.
Automatic F. Don't fight you.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
no,
This is the
no,
low-hanging
no,
fruit.
no, I'm
show,
mad at
man.
North
Anyways,
Carolina now.
so this guy named John was had a, and this was all through tweets. He was kind of mapping it out that North Carolina had promised WB I think 40 million tax credit. That kind of got befuddled. There was like some mishap, and that caused the cancellation. And a bunch of these news articles, news organizations ran with the story based on this guy's tweets. Well, the North Carolina director of the North Carolina Film Office director, Guy Gasser, went on to say, no, that's not the case. First of all, 40 million isn't even our budget's only 31 million. The max tax credit is 12 million. So none of that makes sense what this guy is saying. And the guy, John, even went back and was like, yeah, my numbers are a little off, but I know it's about money. It's like, well, what the fuck?
It is about money, though.
But so I went into a little more, and it's more likely that it's because of AT&T's acquisition of Time Warner and renaming that Warner Media. And their plan is to have Warner Media like a streaming service platform. So they just don't know where the DC Universe app fits in. So it's kind of like just a shit getting lost in a corporate restructure.
Okay, so
that's probably more
So
likely.
I'm actually proud about her for doing his homework because that actually
that's what we do here.
I'm really doing.
We do
that.
low hanging fruit,
Yep.
but we do our homework.
We know what we're talking about at the end of the day, kind of.
Look, there's a dick joke, but there's also credible journalism as
Like-
well. Okay.
like it's a combination. It's a combination of both.
You think so?
They overshot the damn thing. The thing is worth $85 million that they shot. The budget,
Yeah,
was,
okay.
they over budgeted.
I will give you that.
So because
they thought
originally-
James Wan was going to be like, you ready? You ready?
you ready, bitch? You
Okay,
ready?
I can get behind that,
It's $85 million,
which is crazy.
which is insane, right?
But Swamp Thing does look good.
It looks
Yeah.
amazing. Remember now that show was supposed to go 13 episodes. They cut it because they cut it down from 13 to 10 and then put it out, and then they realized,
Yep.
yeah, we overshot it, which plays in part the Time Warner, because we've already heard like anybody who has DC Universe is kind of like on edge because they just signed up for something that they no longer may have probably towards the end of the year, because it's with the Time Warner things, they're going to be doing the same thing they've been doing. You're going to have, it's going to merge into that, and then also they're going to have with them having HBO, it's all gonna be one big streaming service.
So what do you
The
think?
alarming thing is like, and it says we brought up the DC Universe app. It's
I was
like,
about to ask Ashley,
shit, what does that mean?
I was going to say,
Yeah.
as someone who has like subscribed and you're full on it, like, does that detract in any way? Because I know your motivations are different. Your motivations aren't necessarily like, hey, DC shows. You're like, fuck that. Like, awesome comics that I've missed out on, or I don't got fucking thousands of dollars to spend on Jeff John's entire run.
Yeah.
So what do you think? What do you think is going to happen? Like, to maybe people that are like, I signed up for these exclusive shows.
You leaving, Ashley?
No, I feel like if I get to watch Doom Patrol, I get to watch a season of Swamp Thing. I get to read. I don't get to read a ton on it. So, and you also like, I just already paid my money.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm not
They got
thinking
my
about
money.
it anymore. It's not
Right.
like I'm gonna have to pay later, and I'm
Yeah.
thinking about it. Money's
Right.
already gone.
Sure.
So I'm just enjoying it.
And there's a lot of folks that were like, well, I guess I'm not watching. It's like, why? Like, what if it's just a really good fucking series?
Yeah.
Like, if you paid for the app, it's
Yeah.
like, well,
What's
you might
the-
as well watch it. There's like, I
Exactly.
saw a lot of people
just
like,
watch it and enjoy
Yeah.
it. I mean,
Exactly,
they finished
yeah.
Deadwood eventually.
And they're actually,
like, who knows?
and they're
Jesus,
actually trying to
Firefly
save
had a
this.
movie tie-in.
Yeah.
You know.
And they're actually trying to save Swamp Thing too. There's like two people that are looking at it. One HBO, obviously.
There's like people in the swamps like picking trash up. And,
like, yeah, they're like, no, we need this. We need like, hey, that
This
costs,
will help.
That fake litter costs way too much. We got to cut back.
fake litter.
But it's,
I would like to see the
either,
budget.
It's either HBO or CW, and I swear to God, if it ends up on CW, I'm going to be upset because there's no
It's
way
gonna be watered down.
it's going to be super watered down. So you're like, okay, HBO, please, just pick it up for like that
Yeah.
and just finish the second season, because this is inject all of this into my veins. But what do you mean I can't have any more?
right.
That's
right.
that type of mentality that I'm having. So
Like
it's-
that said, it's good, Botter. I
yeah,
recommend
it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I appreciate it. Like I
It's
said,
good.
I was going to watch it anyways. This news definitely has accelerated that.
I feel
but-
like I cheated on you because I know we were supposed to watch it together. Hold on, no.
It would have taken months.
Wait.
It would
I'm
have taken
going
months to
to
put it in.
blame Chris Milbrot on this one because I know he's listening and
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
going to
yeah.
probably smile. So we were on assignment in Georgia, and he's like, "Hey, I have the DC app. Swamp Thing drops. You want to watch it?" And I was like, "Don't tempt me, Frodo." like I had told, because I know I told you, and like in the back of my mind, like I saw like Botter, and I'm sitting, but instead of Botter, it was like a little Botter, like Gamora in Infinity War. And I'm sitting here like,
Is it worth it?
oh yeah, you were looking up at me like, was it worth it, friend? My brother, was it worth it? I'll be like, it cost me everything, child. It cost me
That's
everything,
funny.
child.
I will close out about Swamp Thing by saying this. I'm more concerned about what happens to the DC.
But I essentially
universe.
said, yo, fuck you. I'm going to watch Swamp Thing.
Only because just about a month ago, they had released a report saying that they were really going to beef up their comic book library. That was my only complaint about the DC Universe app, was the library was a little lacking. But then I saw the article that, hey, we're about to load thousands of comics.
Good.
Well, now I'm like, well, do you spend time, continue to develop this app, or do you wait until you figure out what corporate mom and dad are doing? So that's what I'm curious about.
And they were lacking in their shows because I actually watch it for the old cartoons. Come on, I need all my Batman all
Right.
day. Inject that,
Right.
like put that. See, but here's the thing: when I got it, now granted, I ain't spend no money on it. I got it just through the grapevine. But anyway,
Comcast
however-
looking at this.
hey man. Anyway, they didn't even have. I'm like, because they own all their cartoon rights.
Yeah.
They didn't even have like the series, the animated series, the Batman run. Not like the animated, not Batman.
No,
the
no, no.
animated
Yeah,
series,
the
but
Batman.
Yeah.
the Batman. It wasn't nowhere to be found.
Yeah, there's a few things missing.
it was a lot of
No,
stuff
that's
missing.
all right.
And no, it's still the first two seasons were actually really
Gross. It looks like Jackie Chan.
good. Dude,
invented
yo, it's
Wasn't it made by the same?
Yes.
and it was like
disgusting.
and it won
One
an
more
Emmy
thing.
because of
Shut up, Alfred.
one of the shows.
Wait, what?
It won an Emmy because of one of the episodes.
Oh, damn.
but
I
after
don't give a
that,
shit.
I know you don't, but I'm gonna say
Emmys.
it anyway. I'm trying to fight it
I
anyway.
don't care about accolades.
My
Come
dick
on, son.
won an Emmy 3 days ago.
Wait, what?
Dick Emmys.
Demmys.
All right. Anyway,
Water Johnson down for an episode title.
the Demmy.
My dick won an Emmy.
Nice.
But no, they didn't have anything, and then I'm like, why are you spending? Part of me is like, why are people spending money on this, and it doesn't have every little content they had?
So they have like Young Justice and stuff on there.
It was some of the cartoons they were missing, and then they're like, hey, we're gonna, and then probably like when the blink of an eye, they like. Months down the road, they added it. Like, hey guys, it's there now, and I'm like,
you look at your tab and like, meanwhile, the Hall of Justice.
Exactly, they did. I'm like, this should have been on here, man. I can understand if you get like seasons later, and then because of licensing issues, but there's no licensing issues here.
Right,
you own it. What is the deal? So
speaking about old school cartoons, that nostalgic feeling. I don't know if you guys saw the headline for the X-Men animated series team is going to approach. Thank you. Is going to approach Disney about reviving the series, which I immediately had a nerd boner as soon as I saw that title.
But I don't think it's going to be
Hold up. Well,
as relevant because like all those guys already pushed every envelope they could. You watch all those old episodes. Like they were like fucking talking about like
they did.
Heavy shit, heavy. Like, how are you gonna out heavy the heavy? You can't. Like, freaking like, don't worry, Logan. All creatures. Well, he's like, all creatures are children of God. And like Wolverine's like, don't push that religion on me, bub. I tried. And I'm sitting there watching like, yo, can they fucking say this shit on Saturday morning?
And look, they did a better Dark Phoenix series than the fucking movie. And I'm here to tell you, I just watched the movie. And I should have watched the animated series.
Also, Wolverine and the X-Men.
I'll save that.
I mean,
good too.
that's a
good.
great cartoon.
That was good.
Right? Like,
have you watched any of these, Ashley?
Yeah, a long time ago.
All right.
but those were made by like younger individuals, right? So you got to understand, like, we're now having people who are in their 60s try and write with a teenage, maybe early 20s voice. And I don't know if it's going to be as easy for them to do as it would be somebody who's like close to the age we are here at this table. You know what I mean?
Why not just get a younger crop of writers? Sure, there's
But then you get rid of all the other people that started the show. Like the writers started the show.
Well, all right. So let me give some additional background. It's one of those
Previously
it's
on
one of those,
Short Box.
It's one of those like headlines where you're like, oh, it's gonna happen, but there's no like clear date when they're going to talk to Disney. It's the what's his name? It's the series producer and director Larry Houston. He said we'd like to do now that Disney has the rights. You know, we think this would be a perfect time to talk to them about bringing it back. We're not sure what resources they need, so it's still like all up in the air. But I just brought it up because I was like, what?
Well, yeah, but look how old you are.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
that's like 20% of your nostalgia.
That's it. Like it's like, oh no, like this cartoon's only being made, one, so they can sell toys, and two, get younger audiences into the X-Men.
And
They've
get
already
your
got our
coins.
money. Yeah.
Well, all right. So I have a question, and it made me also think of something else. It made me realize that whenever we hear like, oh, Disney now got the rights to this back, Disney got the rights, or this rights is being transferred, I think all we ever think about is from a movie perspective, and maybe just more so me. I won't speak for the group, but this article made me realize, oh shit, there's a lot of things they could do with these properties outside of just the movies. I mean, this being an example, I mean, I didn't connect the two dots where it's like, oh shit, I guess that does make sense that they couldn't do an animated series the way they wanted because of the Fox deal and things like that. So it's kind of cool to see like the trickle down effect of like, oh damn, even like animation departments can't mess with these properties because of the deals in place. But my other question is, what this article made me do was go on Amazon and try to search for the animated series in like like a Blu-ray or DVD form, because I remember the animated series was on Hulu for a hot minute. I don't think it's there now. Pretty sure it's not. So I went on Amazon to see for like DVDs or anything. I couldn't find any physical DVDs. It was all like
Pizza Hut tapes left over from the 90s.
I'd buy them in an instance. But all that was available via Amazon was the digital version of the season, and it was cheap too. It was
dude, I've got a bunch of them I bought.
This is how bougie I become.
Morph!
It was SD only. I was like, ugh.
Exactly.
I can't buy the HD.
I have that same issue.
But it's like $15.
The HD
like-
and the SD are the same quality because they didn't shoot this fucking animation with
True.
like SD cameras. You're still it's not going to look any better.
Nah, but I still kind of like I kind of turn my nose at it if it doesn't even say like a 4 and a K on it.
Ew.
nowhere near it. I'm like, nah, this is
you
poverty.
changed, man.
Hey, dude, hey. It's like
What's the last like animated series y'all have bought? Like whether it's physical or digital? Because I'll say the last series I bought was like a Batman Beyond DVD and Blu-ray, and I like buying the physical versions of it because I like seeing the box art. It's a little more nostalgic for me.
Animated series or just animated
Yeah,
like a TV show?
yeah, like an animated TV show. Ashley, you got any that you recently like revisited or bought?
Metalocalypse.
I can't. Oh yeah.
High five.
Love some Metalocalypse.
I'm trying to think.
I think
You know what? I bought a ton of Bob's Burgers.
There you go.
A ton of Bob, but I still have those old.
did you buy them DVD, physical, or digital?
I got them digital, but
Okay.
physical.
Yeah.
I have. I used to go on eBay when I was in like middle school and high school, and they would send the X-Men animated to me on like CDs, and I would just like pop them in my computer.
Yo,
And I still have a bunch of them somewhere. It's been a long time though.
they did that with like I think there was like a Spider-Man DVD or CD. It was definitely
Yeah.
a CD-ROM of like all the episodes. Damn, and you know CD-ROMs only hold like 700 megabytes. So what is that like? a half an episode?
Sneeze, man.
Well, actually, if it's an SD, you could fit like it's 20 seasons of that in a little CD-ROM.
Dude, if it was me, man, I would just make a Marvel cartoon, period, where like every episode is a different vignette from a
Like
different...
a Marvel premiere? Remember that series?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
Where like it's like this is the X-Men episode, this is the Spider-Man episode, this is the Fantastic Four episode, this is the Hulk episode. Then hedge your bets and see which ones get downloaded the most. Then after that, create content focusing on those results, and then you see who wins out.
So aren't they doing a Marvel What If animated series?
Even better. I know Patton
Weren't they
Oswalt.
talking about that?
Patton
Yeah, yeah,
Oswalt's
yeah.
attached to
There's
the
a few of
MODOK cartoon.
There's like a
coming out.
Howard the Duck one. There's a Tigra, and I can't recall off the top of my head, but I just want to say that's a second really good ass idea. See, just put out. I just don't want to see the Wu-Tang.
They're probably
Mice and
already
Men.
doing it.
I definitely want to see that. Shag, what's the last animated? I guess.
So I'm actually trying to remember. I think the last one I bought, I think physical I bought was Batman: Mask of the Phantasm on Blu-ray.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I rebuy that movie every chance I get.
Saul,
Exactly.
your angel of death awaits you.
And that laugh that I wish I could do, but we all know what laugh I'm talking about. That movie is iconic. I bought that one, and then I guess for digital, would probably be what was that? What was it digitally that I got? It was.
If you need time to think, feel
the
free
entire One Piece collection.
Thank you. It was anime, so it was Yu Yu Hakusho.
to. Yo,
It was Yu Yu Hakusho.
Drew bought me the series DVD, and I need to bust that out. That was a good ass series.
All this
And
anime
it-
is out, and I always turn back to two, either Full Metal Alchemist or Yu Yu Hakusho, and I'm like, shit, here we go again. I'm going to pop this in there. It's like, yes. It's like, man, why are you not watching the Attack on Titan 3's out? That's
Dude, I'm
cool.
like
I'll
that.
catch up.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
there. It's like, so it's funny with that. It's like,
Familiarity is the son of a
dude,
bitch.
Trigun for me.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oof. Oof. Man.
Anime podcast. We got to do an anime specific podcast.
Shock!
we gotta do it.
Nani the fuck?
Do.
Let's stay on this feel good train. C, you had one or two stories that you wanted to share that I think would be perfect time to bring them up.
Yeah, no. So I had to ask Ed because I know he had brought it to everybody's attention. And this is apparently real. They're doing a Django Zorro crossover movie. Yeah. Withhold thy boners, everyone. This is, I don't know. For me, it's interesting because I read the Matt Wagner, Quentin Tarantino run. Now, I'll say this. Tarantino is mentioned in the article I read more than Matt Wagner. And by more, I mean Matt Wagner isn't even fucking mentioned once. Fuck that
Dang.
article because Tarantino, yeah, he might have like rubbed his dick on the little piece of paper a little bit, but that's probably about it. Matt Wagner has been writing for Zorro for so long, and it's so good. And the story is amazing. Like you have basically Django, Broomhilda is settled down in Chicago. They got a house. He's taken jobs on the road, like bounty hunting. and he runs across an older Don Diego de la Vega, and he doesn't know that de la Vega is Zorro. He also is like, de la Vega is also en route to right a wrong regarding slavery, and he hires Django as his bodyguard, right? Which is awesome because the whole time, like, Django's like, yo, who the fuck is this dude jumping around in a damn, like, mask? Because, like, in the original pulps, Zorro just doesn't have a domino mask. Like, he has a mask that covers his entire face with 2 little eye holes cut out. Like, it's like a cowboy bandana, but it covers everything, and he wears the bolero hat, and it's fucking badass. And, of course, he finds out, you know. Matt Wagner's amazing writer. Anything he's done is good. Like his run on the Lone Ranger, Zorro, all these old pulp heroes are great. But apparently, Jared Carmichael is writing a script for this movie, and the article kept saying, like, yeah, this isn't like we'll see what happens, kids. Like, this is like, you know, this movie is going to get made, and nobody has like been hired to direct it yet. They don't know if Tarantino is going to jump on board and direct it. So now here's the thing that makes me nervous. Sony is producing it. Yeah. So I'm like, I don't know. But Sony also produced Django. So like my favorite Tarantino film, sorry everyone, it's Django.
Of course.
I gotta say, like, I don't know. I hope it works out because the story's really good. I love Zorro, like, a lot, a fucking whole lot. And I think just because he's Latino.
Are you sure we're not related, dude?
Yeah, I just fucking.
Are you sure we're not related, dude? Because I grew up like loving the hell out of Zorro, and because of my dad, and I even watched the old school when he come on Disney, like
Oh yeah,
at night.
out of the night when the full moon is bright. Yeah, I have it on my phone. That theme song.
My heart.
This is just too much lovable.
Yeah.
You're so fucking cute.
So hopefully it comes out. Like hopefully the
Yeah.
movie comes out. I don't know. Do you guys like Zorro at all? Like, I feel like everybody here liked Django.
I love Django.
Yeah.
I feel like,
I think I might be in the same camp as you. That might be like.
No, I'm not going to say.
definitely
I won't
top.
say it's his best movie. I'm saying sentimentally, I'm attached the most to Tarantino's Django Unchained.
I have a better question to ask them. That in a better, like in a sense, did you watch when Antonio Banderas was Zorro?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I love
Did
that
you
movie.
did you love
Mask
those
of
movies?
Zorro.
Then
I haven't seen him yet.
really,
Yeah.
someone told me to ask you, Ashley, and I was like, I want to see if she's seen it.
Who's the lead actress in that? Is it
It's
Catherine?
Antonio. It's
Yeah.
Antonio.
Catherine
It's
Zeta?
Antonio
Yeah.
Banderas,
Anthony Hopkins.
and Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Yeah, I fell in love with Catherine Zeta-Jones.
So
At a very young age.
that
Yeah.
movie is essentially almost the same story as Django and Zorro.
That's cool.
Because you have an older Don Diego de la Vega in that movie as well. Like Anthony Hopkins plays the original Zorro.
Huh.
And he's mentoring Antonio Banderas, who has like no class and no charm, and he's just like, this is going to take a lot of like it's good.
Pardon me if you already answered this, but are they looking at getting Jamie Foxx to play Django?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
And what about Zorro potentially?
Who knows, man?
Okay.
It's got to be some old ass classy Spanish motherfucker.
So you.
Yeah, I
No, it
wish.
might be you.
I wish. I'm not older than Jamie
Nah,
Foxx.
that's pretty rad.
You know, with Quentin Tarantino, how he actually works, I wouldn't be surprised if he actually tries to get Antonio Banderas
Right.
to be
Right.
Don de la Vega.
Shit.
Just
I
as
kind
a
of want to. I
callback.
want to read this comic series.
Yeah,
Like you,
I got
you
it.
definitely sold me on it.
Hardback,
That sounds
son.
awesome.
Yes.
That's cool.
Yeah.
See, you had another really good article you wanted to highlight.
Yeah. So I don't know if we were doing them back to back or not.
Yeah, hit 'em.
So I just read an article about Scott Snyder, and for those of you who are living under a rock, Scott Snyder is writing the epic ending to his Batman run with, of course, Greg Capullo drawing, and it looks very, very interesting. Botter was nice enough to get me a copy of Batman: The Last Night on Earth, and I'm very interested in where this comic is going. So Grant Morrison had a conversation with Scott Snyder, and this is what the article was about. Because they were talking, and he was like, "Hey, man, I'm kind of freaking out about writing for Batman." And this happened like a while back. It's just now kind of coming out that Snyder's like, "Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you guys." Like, he's like, I'm it's kind of a big deal. It's Batman. What am I going to do? And Grant Morrison was like, have an ending in mind. Like, write your beginning, and then write the end of your character. Not like, the end of like your run. Like the end of your damn character. Like, I was like, oh shit. So this is supposed to be kind of like a post-apocalyptic. We throw that word around, and if you're into comics, you hear it a million times.
Yeah, it's like 90% of like comic book stories.
Yes, a post-apocalyptic landscape.
But like,
and I hear that voice every time.
If I had a nickel for every time, I'd be freaking. Oh God, I'd be Bruce Wayne for real.
Yeah.
So it's like. It is the end of Snyder and Capullo's run on Batman, which is going to be neat because it puts a nice crazy bow. I mean, if you hadn't read Dark Knight's Metal, like you thought, like, damn, like this is crazy. This is unbelievably over the top, not cheesy, just like bombastic and epic in every way. And now this looks even crazier, like Batman walking around with like a straight jacket attached to his uniform and a severed Joker head that's somehow alive. Wonder Woman has a damn mohawk.
So I'll go ahead
it
and
looks awesome.
I'd like to chime in for a very brief non-spoiler review because I read it on the plane too. I really, really dig what DC's trying to do with these. Like I think it's a Black Label book too. So it's like one of these limited, like 3 issues, premium format. Costs a little more, but you get really good quality paper, really good. I think the inking or the printing is really well because the colors are so fucking crisp. Capullo kills it. That dude, like,
he always brings it.
Like,
man.
Here's the thing: regular Capullo is really good, but you can tell when he's like, I think I'm gonna put a little more into this.
Greg Capullo is kind of like the Glenn
damn.
Danzig of like comic books.
Because
he's like
that dude is a rock star.
Because he's jacked, like he's buff, and then on top of that, like he's ridiculous. Like he's always attached to like weird like projects that like he'll be a part of for a little bit, then he'll leave. Like it's like I can't remember what he was drawing for at Marvel before Todd McFarlane. Like he was drawing for something at Marvel, and then Todd McFarlane was like, "Oh, why don't you come over and draw Spawn for me?" And then he was like,
"All right, I'll do
I think
that."
he's drawing X-Men.
It might have been. So then he goes over, he draws Spawn for like a long ass time, and everybody's like, "Yo, this dude, like,
he's so good.
He's kind of better than Todd McFarlane." And then he's like, "I'm out." And then they're like, "All right, what do you want to do next?" He's like,
Yeah, I'll probably draw this new this little new character I created called the Creech.
and it was like a 3-issue, miniseries. It didn't go anywhere. It was fucking gross, but the art's amazing. And then it's just like, what's Greg Capullo doing now? Let's let him draw Batman for like 10 years,
and like one of those series that everyone still talks about. I know a lot of folks, they don't like the way Snyder's Batman series ended, but it was a lot of fun. And what I'll say about Snyder and Last Night, Snyder is willing to take Batman and his readers out of their comfort zone because he can easily give you another story kind of based around a crime that needs to be solved. But I think Jeff Loeb and Jim Lee dropped the mic on that when it came to like Hush. So Snyder does a good job of just throwing Batman and like Metal being an example.
I was going to say I can't imagine who has a problem with how Batman ended because the last thing that came out was Metal.
There's
a few
folks who just think Snyder's execution ending isn't the great, which I think you can debate that. I feel like when it comes to comic writers,
but he's not done.
Were you talking about the main run?
Yeah, the main run.
Okay.
The main.
A lot of people say that his endings for any of those like arcs didn't end like as good.
The last thing was the First Ally.
Well, the last thing was
Dark Knight's Metal. But Dark Knight's Metal was a DC event. I'm saying the last thing he did was like consistently Batman was the First Ally. That shit was delicious. That had Raphael Albuquerque.
I think he was talking about more so before.
It's straight. As far as like just the Last Night, what I will give Snyder props for is I love that he's willing to take Batman out of like just his comfort zone of like solving crimes.
Yeah, Snyder's always been honest about that too. Like he's always been like, look, yes, I understand you don't like the fact that Joker's face is sliced off and he's wearing somebody else's face. He's like, look, just stick with me.
Yes.
It's not permanent. This is just part of the story. I'm trying to give you guys something you've never experienced before. Like the fact that I have to tell you this is kind of sad. Like, just stick with me. I'm not going to leave it like this. And by the way, I love how real this dude is. Young and he's super real. Like he's like, by the way, I'm not the last guy to write for Batman. So the guy behind me, he'll probably change everything I've done. Like I was like, holy shit! Like you can't say that shit, man. DC will hit you in the head.
And that's what you need to go into this like keeping in mind is it's just fun. Like there's some shit in there that you're like, what? But you
Snyder
just have
writes.
To stay for the ride.
I think I know why you like Snyder is because he writes Batman like a Marvel character.
I never thought about it that way. That's a good point.
No lasting stakes. He's like, someone behind me is going to change that shit.
It's a fun time. It's a fun time.
He's like,
and this first issue left me with way more questions, and I think maybe in my younger days I would have been like, I'm not for it. But just knowing that one, you got Capullo doing the art, and Snyder, it's like I'm stick around, and I'm hoping that they explain some of the things that they brought up. But other than that, it was a really good first issue. Like, I recommend it. It was only $5. I felt like I paid like a good price for this premium content. I'd say give it a shot. It's only 3 issues too, so
cool.
Speaking about Batman, Ashley, you're going to go and wrap us up for a short box story before we go on break. You had maybe...
I was just wondering what everybody thought about the Robert Pattinson Batman.
Oh! I know that was one that was one that I definitely wanted to touch on because so many people had something to say about it.
Yeah. So
what did you think about it?
I mean, it was far from my first choice, but I remember how upset people got when they cast Heath Ledger as the Joker, and he turned out to be my favorite Joker.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to knock it till I see it, and they said it was kind of between him and Nicholas Hoult.
Ooh.
And
Which one's Nicholas Hoult? I'm sorry.
Beast from First Class.
Oh, okay.
And,
I can't accurately give him his props only because I just watched Dark Phoenix.
Oh, yeah.
I just did not like it.
Nope.
So I'm trying to separate it, but...
and then they did the auditions in the bat suit from the last movie, and they said that he did
looks
amazing, looks great. So they're going to do a trilogy. They're going to put a lot of money into it. I can't imagine it'll be terrible.
And this is coming off the fact that Ben Affleck had to hop off this, right?
Yeah, so they're doing a whole new thing. Like, they're doing like 30-year-old Batman, kind of trying to find his place in Gotham City.
And I'm going to piggyback off what you said as far as the Heath Ledger stuff. And I'll even go back maybe a little earlier, which is what I liked some of the comments I saw. But remember when Chris Evans was cast as Captain America?
Yeah.
And we all I don't know who, I don't think we should know, but
I don't think anyone here.
But I just remember the internet,
Yeah.
What, the Human Torch? The guy from was that not another teen movie?
Teen movie?
It's like he's not gonna play that character in this movie. Like, you understand he's an actor.
Looks like Little Miss Run Home and Cry Home to Daddy. Ran home and cried to
Have
Daddy.
Have you seen that people been making gifs of when he was checking himself out in one of the awards, but they replaced his picture with America's ass, like
That's
right there, and
awesome.
he's like admiring it. He's like, yeah, and
That's
just walking
America's
off.
ass.
He is one of my favorite Batman analysts. See, what did you think?
Well, Batman's had a great year this year. Kid's on fire. He's got, let's see the stats up there, Ronnie. He's got all kinds of things going on in Gotham City. Looks like he's brought in 3 criminals a day, and Arkham numbers seem to be going up. Butter, back to you. No, I don't have a problem with it, man. Like, I don't give it. Look, the point is, I'm at the point now. I'm like, how many more Batman movies do we need?
That's my only critique.
I'm like, come
That's
on,
my
a
only
million
critique.
more. Like, I'm done. Like, fuck. I don't need to see another Batman movie unless they're going to do one where it's like he's a transsexual robot from where it's just like something I've never seen before, where it's like, do Batman Beyond. Do that. Like, that's risky as shit.
I think he'd
take
be
a risk.
He'd be
Like,
awesome at that, man.
Yeah, he's too old. Like, people forget. Like, he's my age, man. Like, Robert Pattinson is not a little boy. Like,
I won't lie. When I heard his name, I was like, "Wait, who's
and
that
he's
again?"
hairy as fuck. Like, dude, like, has to
We're talking
shave.
Russian bear Harry,
Like,
or
every 2 minutes he has to shave. Like, I remember, like, a long time ago, like, all my little friends were into Twilight, and they would bring up these facts. Like, it's like, yeah, he had to shave like 3 times a day on set because he's so, like, he always has stubble. And I was like, what the fuck? Because it makes him look old as hell. But, like, that'll work for Batman. But I don't know. So the thing is, like, everybody's judging him on Twilight, right? Everyone's like, oh, Robert Pattinson. Well, I can't imagine he'd be Batman. Unsubscribe. Like,
Was that an Ed impersonation?
no. No.
No.
I didn't say anything
Oh, fuck.
biting or negative. So the thing is, I would ask, like, has anybody ever seen Cosmopolis? Has anybody?
I was going to ask, has anyone ever seen his
anyone
other
seen
movies?
Good Time? Like,
have
I've
not.
seen some of the.
like,
I've seen some of his.
Why do you look like you've been through like some
Because
shit?
because of what I'm
Robert
about to
Pattinson.
because what I'm about to say when I found out about it would
Oh,
not.
you wanna rock this positive boat? Is that what
well, it's
you're doing?
not
I'm about to.
positive.
It's-
It's just give the dude a chance.
Yeah.
Like,
What were you gonna say, Shaq?
So when I found out, I was not pleased. I was also in the sense of like, wait, you had other people that I'm in this other group chat. We were just talking about these are people who we would like to see, and then they come out like left field, and I'm like, wait, what? And I'm like, are you kidding me? Dude was right. It's like you had Armie Hammer right there. Just other names, just throw out. Not saying Armie.
He was going to be Batman in George Miller's Justice League.
Just like
movie.
you, like yo, we had that other dude right here, and then I stopped to think about it. I actually put a pause on it because what made me really enjoy this was I don't know if anybody watches What We Do in the Shadows.
Yes.
Okay, so thank you guys because now I feel accepted because I love that movie and that show. So you remember the big episode where they had like all of everybody playing like the famous vampires when they sat there, they threw a subtle jab at it. It's like, what's Rob? It's like, oh yeah, Rob said he wanted to put that behind him because like leave the past in the past.
Right.
And they were like, at first I was like, who the hell is Rob?
Twilight.
And I'm like, oh, and then come find out that he playing Batman. I'm like, okay, that made me appreciate it more because of comedy reasons, and I'm like, I'm good with this. I'm gonna let him go. I'm gonna let him go with it. Same thing with what Ashley was saying when they pick Heath. I'm like, oh, that you got Brokeback Joker. All right, cool. But then I was like, but then I got over it, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna learn my lesson. Get everyone like whoever plays it, just as long as they have a good director, it's cool. And
That's another thing.
We said the same thing about Ben Affleck, I believe.
Well, the thing is who's directing the movie too, right? So it's like a matter of a combination of who's going to be Batman and who's going to direct it. So right now we have Robert Pattinson as Batman. I'm cool with that choice. Michael Keaton was out of left field choice. So was Heath Ledger because he was making teen heartthrob movies. He was the leading man. But if for those who had been watching movies, period, if they had seen some of his other stuff that didn't get much like mainstream attraction, like Brothers Grimm, you look at his character in that movie, I was like, oh shit, he's gonna kill the Joker. He's gonna freaking like nail it because he was a very legitimate actor. So like Robert Pattinson, I've seen other movies from the side where he's like, oh man, like he's got some chops, you know, like I could see like anyone could put on a Batman suit and be Batman, you know, like because you don't really see the face. All you got to do is make a scowl, not talk, and beat the shit out of people, like throat punch motherfuckers. But can he be Bruce Wayne? That's the question.
He was a pretty smooth ass vampire in Twilight. I mean,
Sparkle.
And not only that, but to Cesar's point, it's not like he's going to be Batman by himself. There's a director involved. He's going to have a trainer that's going to bulk him up.
Right.
He's probably going to have a coach.
Right.
And not only that, but he's got fucking years of Batman content to go research.
I think everybody's gonna be fucking flipping their shit when they see him after he's done the training.
Yeah.
Yo, that's what I want to see.
Because they're gonna like, you know, after he gets on that Tom Hardy 3-month steroid, that Chris Evans 3-month steroid.
Come on, show your respects.
Yeah,
it's Stallone.
Right, Stallone's still on. Stallone is still on that roids.
He doesn't look like a lazy actor neither. He looks like he'd probably
That's
put
what
in
I'm
the
saying.
work.
Like he's the kind of guy that would be like, yeah, he's got the most to prove. Of course he's going to do it. You know, like fucking Cedric Diggory is going to make it happen.
And he good call, by the way. I definitely forgot he was fucking Diggory.
Right, he's in Harry Potter.
He's been playing a brooding character for years.
Damn, good point.
Yes.
Shaq.
For years.
I knew I invited you on for a reason.
Hey man, like I said,
It makes so much
twice
sense.
yesterday. Yeah, like it's he's a brooding
Now
character.
here's the thing: I want to know who's playing Alfred. That's what I want to know.
yeah.
Who's because if you get Robert Pattinson, like okay, that man, it's like you said, get somebody in there who could like say the fucking quips to like get him. Like
Yeah.
Jeremy Irons was a great Alfred. Like I like him better than Michael Caine. Like I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. I like him better as Alfred than Michael Caine because.
Too young.
Alfred is like he should be sort of like the dad that's like if my son would only do this, you know, but he doesn't really mean it, right? Like Jeremy Irons is like well, you're gonna have to leave this to your children, and then he's like, if you have any children, you know, that sort of thing. Like but he says it with love, just like in Mask of the Phantasm, where like Batman's about to go, and he's like, no doubt you'll be seeing Miss Beaumont tonight. And he's like,
You think you know everything about me, don't you?
and he's like, I bloody well ought to, sir.
I bottomed-
I was like, yeah, I wiped your bottom. Yeah, like,
Can I throw in Ian McShane as my Alfred choice? Only because I feel like in John Wick, I kind of get Alfred vibes from him, where he's like kind of subtle, but he's got quick.
I get where you're going. I get where you're going.
he's too much of a bruiser. Like he's a
Yeah,
two,
I
like,
agree. All right.
I get where you're going with this. I appreciate it.
Attitude wise, yes.
Go ahead and drop the other foot, Shaggy. But you're fucking stupid.
Nah.
I'm
That's
kidding.
John Wick money, bro. That's John Wick money.
No, but it says I got a point. He is kind of stocky.
From a marketing
Definitely
standpoint,
stocky.
that makes perfect sense because everybody loves John Wick. Everybody
Yeah.
thinks like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, we'll get that. Like,
Ashley, you brought the news piece to the table, so I want to ask you, who would you cast as either Alfred or Batman? Did you have someone else in mind?
I mean, I think we did our Batman picks.
Yeah, and I'm trying to remember. I know
few
Carl
months
Urban.
ago.
Like,
Carl Urban's
definitely
my
was
dude.
high
You
up
guys
there.
all went with Carl Urban.
Why do you say that?
Not
Like in
seeing
disgust.
Not seeing it.
Do you want me to
love
pull
it.
up
I
pictures
love it.
of Carl, my Carl Urban?
I mean,
Butter's like, do you want me to show you my Photoshop images where I did a Carl Urban layer?
Let me ask y'all this: do y'all pick your Batmans based on how strong his chin is?
That's definitely a criteria.
Because we've already seen his chin.
Yeah.
And I don't.
No.
I'm trying to find where the disconnect.
No,
is.
I pick my Batmans on how much they look like Zorro. Give him a
Wait. So all right. If not Carl Urban, then who? Ash?
So my pick was Pablo Schreiber, and nobody had any
take a
sort
look
of
at him,
like.
dude.
Is
We're all-
anyone
we're all-
watching American Gods?
Yeah.
Pablo Schreiber.
Freaking
Look at
Matt
him.
Sweeney. Nobody's
Like I
feeling
had,
it.
Oh,
I
that
wanted
dude?
a younger. I definitely wanted to sit there
No,
with
ew,
the
no.
Batman.
The dude's like 7 feet tall.
He looks
and
like the
he's
Joker in this one picture. like he looks like the Joker in this picture. Look at his smile. No. I see where you're going because this image right here is an IMDb profile pic. I can see it.
I'll tell you right now, I would cast him as Oliver Queen, but not as Batman.
The rich man's Bat. Well, hold on.
He'd be the broke man's man. Who's more richer?
Oliver Queen?
Who's more wealthy? I guess is the term.
I think
They're both the same.
They're kind of the same. Only one is like.
They're both Caucasian and own company. I guess that's a good point. I think. Well, actually, Shaggy, did you want to throw in yours and then we'll go on break?
Nah, man, we had there were so many other people that we've named to try to play Batman, and at this point, my whole idea was if you're going with a younger Batman, he needs to look young and kind of like he just I just got back from learning kung fu in the Alps.
I wouldn't mind a year one story.
That's
what I was thinking. I was like, oh, cool.
Batman Begins
Oh,
already
we did
dropped
do
that
that.
mic,
Yeah, we
man.
did.
They kind of but there's kind of alluding with the Batman. He's kind of like
Not with this one.
I thought it was supposed to be a partial with that, but not
He's
like.
fucking 30.
So I think it was year 2 that they were kind of looking at, not year 1. My fault.
I believe that's Todd McFarlane.
Yeah, it's Todd McFarlane, the Grim Reaper story.
Well, don't get me started on my comic shit.
Let's go.
Y'all want to go on break and then we'll come back and address these emails and voicemails in Champion Season?
No.
Okay, well, let's go on break anyways.
Like we have a choice.
We've got a new track by Mecca the Marvelous. It's called Meditate. We're going to play that. It's available on all streaming services, so Apple Music, Spotify, SoundCloud, etc. Let's go and play this, and we'll be right back. We got emails and voicemails and Champion Season, all right? Peace. Or we'll be back, I guess. Yeah,
It's
we'll
about
be back.
dealing
Yeah.
drugs. And
And Mecca the Marvelous Meditate plays now.
Breathe in, breathe out. Find your focus, do your pee now. One mind, one soul. It's so jumbled in the jungle. Tell me, is you the person that you say that you are? Don't you lie though. You want the money and all the fast cars. I want it all, shit. The fast women and faster cars. Can't help that I'm from Duval, where we never had nothing. So when we go out, we gon' ball. See, this temptation is also addicting and living so fast. I can end up in prison, but I won't slow down, cause I don't have no brakes and I won't take a break.
Yo, we are back. Once again, that was Mecca the Marvelous Meditate, available on all streaming services. Short boxes, we're going to switch this up a little bit, all right? We normally do Champion Season to close us out, but Ashley's got a champion that she cannot wait, and she's got to head out. So we're going to go ahead and jump straight into our Champion Season. Champion Season, for those of you joining us for the first time, is the segment of the show where we all go around the table and highlight a few things within pop culture and comic books that we feel, hey, this is really dope and you should check it out. So it could be a movie, a comic book, a television series, activity, an event, etc., that we think that you guys should look into. Ashley, how about you go ahead and kick us off? What are you going to champion today?
So I've seen so much stuff in the past few weeks, like TV shows and movies. I'm going to start off with John Wick 3.
Good one.
It had so many good dog scenes. It had attack dogs. It had happy pit bulls. It was such a good. The fight scenes were amazing. The thing that freaked me out, like I went and saw it on a Friday night at like 9:00. So many kids in that movie theater. So many kids.
They need one of those Deadpool. In like the Deadpool movies, how they were doing like the warnings at the beginning.
Yeah.
They need to. Okay, that's crazy.
I mean, who would even look at it? It's the third one. You know what I mean? Like you should know better.
I'm gonna just bring my kid to this. Just shut him up,
man.
But yeah, it was really good, and I just forgot how much I like those movies. So now I want to rewatch them. I've probably seen the first one 25 times, but I always fast forward past that first part. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I've only seen that part one time. I'll never watch it again. But I appreciate that in this movie they made sure you knew that his dog was okay. Everything that happens, they're like, this is where the dog is. He's doing great. Don't worry about the dog.
Well, he's good.
He's good. So it was such a good movie.
You know what I like about John Wick is if you choose to just go in there, turn your brain off, and enjoy a popcorn movie, it'll give you that.
Yeah.
But if you also want something a little deeper or something with like a very, it's like a lesson on like how sometimes simplicity is just the best way to go. That's how I feel about John Wick.
Yeah.
But in this third one, it felt like they were like definitely diving into like the complex like world building.
Yes,
is what I want to say.
Yes.
Wait, this is this is the second. Oh, this is the third one.
This is the third one. There was more.
The thing that I'm sorry, go ahead.
No. You're good.
The thing that fucked me up though was the head. I'm starting to really dislike this. The headline about the fourth one came out like a day or the day before or day of when I went to go see it. So I went in there like,
okay.
Damn. I mean, I wasn't that invested in this, but it would be nice to not know that. Wait, give it a month or something.
No, that thing was coming. They're not playing no games. Like this was when he did that. When he did the first movie, they were just like, I'm just doing it, and now it's his movie. It's Keanu's movie that he puts his own money into now. So it's like, oh, we're gonna milk this for all it's worth because I love doing this character.
But then I go into it thinking like, oh my god, this became one of those like milked out franchises. That's my only critique was that I was like, it kind of just took me out of it.
Yeah, but that world building is why it's happening. Yeah. That's the problem. The first movie wasn't about world building.
Yeah.
That's why it was good. It was about a dude who's the fucking devil, and he has some tiny aspect that makes him human. He retires from being a fucking badass murderer. Why? Because his wife gave him a little puppy, Like the dog is, everybody's like, oh, don't kill John Wick's dog. That'll piss him off. You don't want to kill his dog. It ain't killing his dog to get him mad. John Wick could give 5 fucks if you kill a dog. It's the dog that his wife that turned him around from being the character in Unforgiven, because he's the same guy. He was a fucking murderer of women and children. And then he got like rehabilitated because he met like the right person. She fulfilled him as a human being. She gives him this dog. And then, like, they shoot the dog. The one thing that makes him human, the one tie
after his wife dies, too.
The one tie he has to making him not a sociopathic, murdering, crazy killing machine, they kill. And he's just like, nothing left to lose now. Like, that's why that's a good story, right? But then part 2 comes out, and it's like, world building. Hope you guys like it. And it's like, no, I don't give a shit about this. That's just fucking the Star Wars prequels. Fuck world building. I don't want this shit.
And I love the world building. That's the thing that really with that I'm like, oh shit. Okay, there's this fucking like especially with the hotel.
It's
and
not
just, like,
bad. It's not a bad movie, but it went from being a movie with substance, part 1, to then the rest of them are just animes.
No, because exactly, and that's
I know. I know where you live, man. I know where you live.
I feel seen. Yeah. But it's one thing that because you announced you didn't know that they're doing the movie, but did you know that they're doing a show?
Oh, shit.
What?
Jesus Christ!
Stars is picking it up. It's based
Who's going to start?
It's based on the show's called The Continental, which is based off the hotel.
Who gives a fuck about that?
Oh, okay. So okay.
Those characters that they're building up with that will show up in the 4th movie.
Okay.
So it's if you do it right, they got another hit on their hands. My thing about John Wick is the horror element, because this dude has more kills in the last 3 movies combined than Michael Myers and Jason,
right?
Yeah.
and Freddy Krueger.
That's what makes him good, though.
Which is insane.
Is that like you? That's why Unforgiven works. Is because fucking Clint Eastwood started out at the beginning of the movie as a dude who's a rehabilitated murderer. Like he's like, your mother cured me of the waves, God bless her. Blah blah blah. As the movie progresses, he slips back into the gunslinger he was when he was young. he talks earlier in the movie. He's like, "Yo, I don't cuss at animals, son. Don't curse at animals. You know, these are, you know, little creatures. They can't help it. And I used to do that. And your mother, God bless her soul, she cured me of other ways, right? But as you watch the movie, he starts slowly, like his morality compass starts going down, and like he gets on his horse like a fucking piece of shit horse. God damn it, you know. And at the end, he's like, I'm going to kill your family and your family's family. Anybody that tries to shoot me, I'm coming after them, blah, blah. Like, it's like, holy shit. Like, that is John Wick before he found a wife and whatever. He's like still young Clint Eastwood from like Unforgiven.
And
like,
he still wants to live that
he's
life.
He's crazy.
Yeah, he still wants to live that life. He's like, all right, if I got to kill every son of a bitch that doesn't want me to have this life, I'll do it.
Right.
But I want to have that life.
Right.
And he's constantly, even the third one is more so of like, look, I need this to end so I can go live my life. And they're saying there's no way in hell you're going to be able to do that because you've done so much already. What makes you think? He's like what they ask him. He's like, you think you're just going to keep running? He's like, yeah. He says, you'll die before you even do that. He's like, I know. He's like, but what would your wife want?
Oh, I didn't mean to. I don't mean
Look
to
what
take
you've done.
Ashley's
Look what you've done.
spotlight because I want to hear more about what you liked.
But
It
apparently,
just-
this movie is impressive enough to get people talking.
Yeah.
Yes.
And to
Yeah.
the point where, like,
and all those good
to be able to
dogs.
show.
Good boy.
Like,
John Wick
All
3.
the
good
good
boys.
dogs.
John Wick 3.
okay,
Good
now,
boy.
Hold on. I got to say this. Like, Ashley has been the closest to anybody selling Mia on this damn movie. Like Potter's like, yo, you got to watch it, man. It's like kind of an action movie where it's like, you don't really got to think too hard, and it's kind of simple. And Shaggie's like, yeah, they're never going to, like, stop him, like, from having the life he wants. Like, they're going to totally throw all these roadblocks to happiness, right?
Also murder.
Yeah. And I'm sitting here like, nah. And Ashley's like, dogs, man. Lots of cool dogs. And I was like,
Good dogs.
I mean, I'll watch the dogs.
And there's a library scene. The opening library
Oh
scene. They
my.
That
have
shit
to
was
make
wild as hell.
the fight
That shit was
scenes
so wild.
like things I've never seen before. Like I've seen a lot of fight scenes. I've never seen anything like that library scene.
I went with my brother Joe. His arm was black and blue by the time we got done. I just kept hitting him like, "Oh my, do you see this?" He's like, "I'm watching the same movie, please,
Bro.
Yeah, that opening fight scene was
Ooh.
So
crazy.
good.
Oh my god, yeah.
Oof.
Ashley, you got anything else to chat before you jet?
Man, so right before I came here, I watched the first episode of Chernobyl.
Yo,
I keep hearing about
I just
It is so good.
so I-
like
Brutal.
blue, and it's real. Like
Yeah.
it's bait. Like all the stuff that goes on. It was just like this perfect storm of like this destruction, and then what happened after. I've only seen the first episode, but I
Yeah.
can't stop thinking about it. Like if I ever am like staring off while we were doing this, I was thinking about Chernobyl.
damn, that's some
so
morbid
good.
shit to think about. What the
Hey man, it's. I feel bad for anybody
wow,
who's.
that's a. I want Blythe. That was like that was the
I'm
show.
sorry.
Yeah.
I just like that Ashley was like, so if you see me like staring off, like I'm like,
Russian
about it.
power plant that
like I'm
exploded.
like, Jesus, Ashley, we got a job to do. And she's like, nah, fuck you idiots with
That
your dick
was-
jokes and racism. I got to think about Chernobyl.
When Game of Thrones ended, that was the show that Blythe jumped on, and I was like, I kind of need. I'll find something else. Well,
That was
she-
the real life Game of Thrones.
yes.
Yes.
She wrapped it up, and I watched like the last episode because I watched the first one, then the last in true Botter fashion, and I gotta say that shit is like really sad. Did you see the
Yeah.
headlines about? Did you see the headlines that read? Russia plans on making their own version of
Yes.
Chernobyl, where they put the blame on the CIA, like,
Yes.
setting it up.
I heard.
Because I guess they took this as like just propaganda that the Russians
Oh, of course.
messed up.
Yeah.
So they're like, wait a minute, what about this theory about the CIA? Nah, that was a good show. That was really intense.
Yeah.
And and I think and what you said too about it just being real, where it's like, no, that shit still exists.
Yeah.
I need to send you this really uplifting video about all the dogs that got abandoned there finding homes.
I heard. Yeah.
Okay, you did.
Yeah.
The smile that she just had.
Yeah.
Dogs, you're so cute.
No,
I don't know where this was going. I was like, what?
No, I wouldn't do that.
Oh, shit.
She's like, no. She's
So,
like,
John Wick 3, Chernobyl. Did you have anything else to say about Chernobyl?
No, I've only seen the first episode, but
Okay.
it's just freaking.
You're in for a good ride.
intense.
Yeah, it's pretty intense. Okay, word. Ashley, you got a jet, right?
I
Is there
do.
anything that you want to plug or mention or?
Oh, so on my Etsy shop, Etsy.com/Ashley Lineart, I've been selling a ton of those hound stickers since the show ended.
Oh, I bet.
No, those are
So
cool.
I put up some Groot Hodor stickers. That's about it. And then I'm going to be at Heroes next week.
Yeah,
Hanging out.
Heroes
So I'm
Con, North
super
Carolina.
excited.
Word.
Yep.
All right, Ashley, it was a pleasure. Be safe. See you, Heroes Con. C, what about you, man? What do you got to champion?
I'm going to champion the movie Suspiria. It is an Amazon original. It's so good, and it's scary, and it's not for everybody, and it'll scare the shit out of you. So enjoy it. And also, I'm going to champion... so I played a game called 5 Minute Dungeon, and it is one of the funnest little games I've ever played. It's a little board game, kind of a card-based, and they made a 5-minute Marvel version of the game. And you can pretty much play as different heroes and defeat different iconic villains like, Ultron, Thanos, of course, Loki, MODOK, stuff like that. And it's a good time. And the game only literally takes 5 minutes.
You explained the rules in 5 minutes, which is usually like the first attempt at me trying to fall off it is like if I'm just getting bombarded with like instructions that don't quite, like sometimes you just got to play through it and it makes sense. But the way you explain the instructions, like, oh, well,
it's like Uno and Dungeons and Dragons mixed together.
Yeah.
So we're gonna be fighting afterwards.
Yeah.
All right then.
Yeah.
Are we doing a little round? Okay. So 5 Minute Dungeon, and then
the movie Suspiria.
Suspiria,
So I don't know. So the original movie came out in 1977, and it's fantastic movie. This is it's a remake, and it's good for the same reasons that David Cronenberg's The Fly is good. Like the original Fly that came out in the 50s with Vincent Price is good. The Fly with David Cronenberg, that's good too, but it's a completely different entity. Suspiria is the same thing. It's the same story, kind of, but I don't want to say too much because it's damn good. If you haven't seen it, if you have Amazon, man, fucking watch that shit. It's on there.
Big ups to Rob from Straight Chillin' because I understand it was one of his favorite movies that he had.
Yeah,
I remember that.
Costumes are great.
Yeah,
it's terrifying, and people are like, I don't want to call it a slow burn because that insinuates that movies that take you on a journey and expect you to experience things in real time are slow. I just, they used to call that making movies. So it's good.
All right, word. Shaggy, what about you, man? What are you going to champion?
I think I'm just going to champion the one thing because obviously I would have definitely spoke on John Wick, but I'll champion this week. This week is actually, quote unquote, the start of the Electronic Entertainment Expo, E3, for you gaming nerds out there. Actually, at 4 o'clock today, Microsoft's conference takes on the plane. They got like a lot of stuff that they want to mention. Sony isn't a part of this conference. They backed out because they're doing their own thing. Yeah, I know, right? Like they're doing their own thing. I know Google had their Stadia project. What's today? Sunday. They had theirs Friday, and that looked interesting. EA had theirs yesterday, and that Star Wars game looks fucking amazing. By the way, Google it. Is
that like one of those world building games?
Not world building.
Not world
it's
building,
but yeah, it's
open world. Is that what the term?
Yeah, it's open world. It's like it'll be kind of like open world, but it's a storyline linear. It also has characters from Rogue One. Go look that trailer up.
So forgettable characters.
You can't forget about Forrest Whitaker's character.
Oh,
that
dude,
that eye is not going to lie.
Terrible. Oh my god, I'm so glad you brought that up.
Like that eye is not forgettable. Anything you're gonna look like, what's old Droopy doing?
Yeah.
Wait, but no.
Save the tree.
Exactly. That's he. And I saw his character in the trailer. I was like, oh,
yeah,
okay. But I think they
could have saved him.
They could have. He didn't. It was like, no, I want to die. It's like, dude, you're about 10% person, so I can understand. But no, like Microsoft's conference today, I'm really interested in that because I'm gonna see what they're gonna do because I know they're starting a lot of stuff's gonna be looking at. I like to jokingly call it the digital frontier, with how they're gonna be looking at certain things going forward. Because eventually, a lot of people are speculating that Microsoft eventually will give up the console game and just be making games for other platforms, still keeping Xbox Live, still doing and this is just speculation, but still keeping Xbox Live, dropping the consoles and still making games, but for other platforms, doing crossplay on like PC, Switch, and like PlayStation if they ever decide to like open their arms, open their arms and let everybody in, because they're the only person right now. Because even you can have Xbox Live on the Switch, like currently down the pipeline. That's how they got Cuphead on the Switch. So stuff like that. So it's interesting to see where the gaming industry goes with that. But E3 is this week, and that's what I'm championing.
Damn. Thanks. Been a minute since we had a video game correspondent. I appreciate that. The two things I will champion is the Fade Out, the comic book series.
Oh, man.
By Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips. Have y'all read it? Has either one of y'all read it?
Not yet.
I have not.
I'm still waiting for Bad Weekend to show up at my door.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one. That's a real good one. I'm going to try to do my best to justify why this series is just a damn must-read, man. And I'm not sure how I fell into the Ed Brubaker. Well, actually, I do know. I fell into the Ed Brubaker, Sean Phillips hole because this current series of Criminal that's coming out monthly was really good and caught my attention. There's a story arc called The Bad Weekend. I think it's issues 3 and 4 or 4 and 5. That's based about like an old school comic book artist and just kind of like that whole.
Hey, don't spoil it.
Yeah, I won't.
I was gonna say, don't they team up and do Kill or Be Killed?
Yeah, they do. I mean, their catalog is crazy. If you pick up like Criminal right now, and this is what I love about them, in the back of their books, they have like their catalog. Hey, did you like this? Here's
like
more
a bibliography.
Yeah, here's
section.
more Brubaker and Sean Phillips. And also what they do, what I've noticed in every comic book, because I thought it was just this Criminal arc, but they dedicate 2 or 3 pages to like an article by a subject matter expert or just super fan, and it's because Ed Brubaker and he called himself a print nerd. So he likes when you buy a book or a comic book, it feels hefty, that there's more to it than just the classic buying a comic book. It's got ads. But for example, in the Fade Out, because it's based on, Hollywood during the Blacklist era, every issue at the end of it has a film review about an old school Hollywood film by like someone that really loves it. And they break it down really well, et cetera, et cetera. But I say all that to say the current issues of Criminal made me go into this Brubaker, Sean Phillips hole. I loved Kill or Be Killed. I loved Brubaker's run on Captain America and some of his other Marvel stuff. So I just I found this article that was like, the 6 best places to start with Brubaker and Sean Phillips. And one of those that I mentioned was Incognito. Loved that. But the Fade Out was just something else, man. Oh my God. It's like, this is what a comic book should do or could be. It's like, it felt like a piece of
now,
a body of art, dude.
Now, Potter, were there any superheroes?
I know.
were there any superheroes?
Look, it is strictly about like a Hollywood film studio. There's a murder, of course. The FBI searching for the commies, cover-ups. It's a murder mystery, and man, just the level of detail that Brubaker puts into each one of these characters, like the actresses, the actors, the writer, his best friend, the studio owner, the security. It's like all of these puzzles that, man, he just meticulously like shows a few in this issue, this subplot. Like there's so much going on, but it is so well done, and the art is so fantastic. Like it's just, you look at Brubaker and Phillips, and Fade Out definitely has them as in my top like 5 favorite comic book duos. Just sometimes, man, it just a certain duo is like, nah, you can't break them apart. Jeff Loeb, Tim Sale comes to mind. Kirby and Lee come to mind. Brubaker and Phillips is up there for me. Like I don't want to see them split apart again. And I'm telling you right now, Fade Out is just so well done. Even the ending, I was like, what? Like, I just wanted to talk to someone about it. I was like, yo, who's read this shit? Yo, Drew. And he's like, I don't remember. It was like years ago. Welcome to the party, But I highly recommend it if you're a fan of, like, the Hollywood culture back in the, of that era. If you're a fan of murder mystery, or if you're just a fan of, like, what comics can do outside of, like, the capes.
Now, what if you're a fan of Spider-Man?
Or Batman?
I think you should read it because of... to see like the different range of it. Spider-Man is iconic and is classic for a reason, because at the heart of it there's a human morality and a story there. Same thing with what I felt with reading Fade Out was like, I'm seeing the flaws of these human. Cesar is looking so menacing, like, yes, I told him. But like Brubaker just has a way of like crafting these really flawed characters that you're just like, damn, man, I can relate to this dude. Like, he's not. And I'm not saying they're all shitty people, but it's just like real. It's like, damn, no, these are some real ass people, and they're dealing with like, you know, they're not dealing with alien invasion or, you know, a baddie. It's like, no, there was a murder. There's a mystery going on, and there's a lot of shady shit, and you're just in it for the ride. And every issue, you're like, oh my God, what? I didn't think Richard would ever do that, you know?
So I'm actually impressed with Barter, like, for the last few months. Look at him doing death-defying trips, watching horror movies.
Yeah, you just catching up.
And just now reading actual graphic novels, man. Just actual ones that doesn't have capes. It's a beautiful thing.
Here, let me grab that tear. So I really recommend, if you're a fan of Brubaker and Phillips and you haven't given that a shot, give that a shot for real. That's some next level stuff. It's 12 issues. It's collected in like a regular trade and then like a deluxe trade. So I really suggest that. And then the other thing I'll champion is a YouTube series called, Wax Only. Wait, let me double. I don't want to fuck that up. It is called, Wax Only. So the radio station Power 106 in Los Angeles, they have a YouTube channel called Wax Only. I forget the name of the DJ, which sucks, but every video is about 10-15 minutes, and it's a mix that he does of classic albums and the samples that they have in them. So, I mean, he does, you know, Tribe Called Quest, Midnight Marauder, like all the classics, Nas, Illmatic, Jay-Z, Gangstar, Beastie Boys. And it's just 10, 12 minutes of him, the video, it's a camera, just watching him like do his mixes. He puts the vinyl on, he'll play the sample, and then he'll play the original or the song from the album. And it's just, I'm a sucker for that, man. I'm a big sucker for those type of mixes because it's important to highlight the importance of sampling in hip hop. A lot of, you know, the negative connotation is that it's stealing, it's, you know, the very thoughtless exercise in making music, but that's not the case. And for me, I wouldn't know a Marvin Gaye or a Sade or a Al Green or a Temptations, any one of these classic acts without hip hop and their active sampling. That music could have easily died. A lot of the lesser known stuff. I mean, there's some, you know, a Marvin Gaye music catalog.
I was going to say,
yes,
Bill Withers.
But
you're right, right.
But I would almost debate that how big would they still be without hip hop? They probably stand the test of time on their own. But
my question is being big their goal, or is it just art? So, like,
if it's art, I would imagine
being good art isn't necessarily a reflection of being big either. So like,
I get what he's saying. Though.
I know what he's saying. Yeah, I know he's saying that exposure is important, right? So, like, how many people would be exposed to their music if it wasn't for samples? Like, you were exposed to this music, you know, like. But it's the same argument you can use with comics, man. Like, would you be reading Ed Brubaker right off the bat? No, not unless you had gotten into Stan and Jack. With Spider-Man or Steve and Stan at this point, right? That's basically, like you said, that's Spider-Man and like all these old school characters are like baby's first forays into the human soul, right? Whereas like now you're reading Brubaker and you're like, yo, you're tackling into the darkness of like mankind and how a man thinks or whatever. Same thing. You were listening to freaking probably when you started out, like, you weren't listening to Sade right off the bat. You were listening to like some other rap shit that was turning you on to these things, right?
Yes.
You evolved. That's what I'm like. But there are other people that have already been there, that have lived there. So the question is, does being big or mainstream diminish or give credit to something that's already artistically credible? That's where I'm at.
Sure. And just because champion, I don't want to dive too much.
Let's do it.
But I do want to recommend, if you're a fan of hip hop and the samples and a sucker for DJs making the mix live, it's a really good series. Once again, it's on YouTube. It's called Wax Poetic or Wax Only, and there's like 50 or 100 like videos of every classic album and stuff. So there's definitely some songs on there I've picked up. So those are my two.
Are people still debating? Like, does that still go on?
No,
hardcore about like sampling. And
folks like Ninth Wonder, who is arguably one of the best producers in hip hop ever, who's a teacher of at University of North Carolina. He teaches a class about hip hop and the importance of sampling and just kind of that in general. I think he has helped bring to the forefront like why sampling is an art form in its own way.
Oh no, I
highly
saying
recommend some of the documentaries he's put out.
I'm not disputing.
No. But to answer your question,
if it's an art form, I'm wondering if it's a musical art form. That's the question. To someone who plays an instrument, like technically proficient, like somebody that's like a Miles Davis, right? Is that guy and a DJ, are they on the same page? You know, like there's that debate still going on.
I don't know. I don't know if that debate's going on. Hopefully not.
Like, is a legit jazz guitarist who spent hours devoted to learning technicality towards an instrument, as opposed to someone who has sampled something and created music with other people's music. Is that the same thing?
I can guarantee that's not happening.
No one's debating that.
No one is debating that anymore.
I think a lot of people. I think a lot of people are.
You'd be surprised. Like
the champion went into it.
This was my goal to get everybody. I don't want to leave. I haven't seen you guys for a long time.
When Ashley left, we decided
like, yo, we're gonna get to the.
I tried to do that shit when Ashley was here too.
Just for like with one of my buddies who's a producer that does some stuff for me. It's more the fact of now it's just like, okay, you're sampling all this other stuff, and obviously to your point you're like, okay, are they being remembered? But not a lot of people, because of how certain music is nowadays, that debate is kind of gone down to where it used to be high, like super high, but it's kind of, you've seen it.
No, I'm not saying I think we're still talking about art.
Okay.
Like it's still art.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it isn't art. I'm just saying, is it the same thing as playing an instrument? That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm asking. I'm not trying.
I'm just going to say yes, only because I've watched like a David or a Parrish spend hours
not making a beat, sampling other people's music and using it to create something else.
Okay,
that's different.
Let me just say that, and then we'll move on to emails and what.
Sweating.
Answer for the whole world, Bonner. Do it. You are the voice of everything.
Yo, you're stupid.
Voice of the youth.
Yo, hip hop's trash.
No. We don't have to talk about this.
It's not. I'll just say
something that we don't usually get to talk about.
It's not as easy as what people think. It's not.
No. I'm not saying
no. There is a level of training involved in being able to do what a Ninth Wonder or a DJ Premier
I rarely get to ask questions on the show, and now I'm in the seat.
Yo, you understand?
Yes.
You feel that power.
The power.
Yeah, this is a long episode.
You'll see, why are you glowing?
There is an art, there is a technicality, there's a certain level of skill required to do that good and not sound like, well, I can clearly tell you just took, these 10 seconds from this Marvin Gaye song and just pasted it into your song as the hook. There's no skill in that. Like I don't consider you a musician, but are you looking at this sample in ways that, these icons do, where it's like, how do I incorporate it in a song? Does it make sense? Like what's the BPMs? How does it flow? Where do I want it? Like, am I going, there's more to it than that. And I think you can tell when it's a shameless just rip or it's someone like taking this,
put time in it.
Well, just taking this material,
right,
and treating it as a tool with respect, where it's like, okay, I'm going to pay homage and respect to this sample I took, but I'm going to make it my own. And it's a very fine line. There isn't a lot of people that can do it to the point where you're like, wow, that sounds so original. There's plenty of people that just rip a sample.
Do they pay for the rights?
Yes. Well, a good producer should. And any one of those I named will go through the right.
So they'll pay the rights for that sample in the song.
They should. I mean, you run into a lot of producers who, don't, where they think they've distorted enough where it's like unrecognizable, but diehards will find it. And labels will find that.
Definitely find
for
it.
sure. So yeah. And watching how like a Ninth Wonder talks about sampling and like his appreciation for these musicians, it's like, wow. Like he'll tell you this drummer right here didn't get his respect on this song, but this is what I look. And anyways, it's
keep
there's
going.
There's definitely like
this is exactly what I wanted to.
There's definitely a level of like you can tell as a hip hop head. I can tell like oh, he respects the art form of sampling. It's not
So-
just a money grab. It's like, I'm kind of lazy. Just rip that Sade.
So hold on. So for all the people that are listening, I'm not trying to troll Botter. Botter, I will say this to any and everybody that I meet whenever I talk about Botter and his love for hip hop. I will always defer to him as the hip hop authority. Like it's like, yo, I will be telling people like, yo, to put it in like DC terms, like Botter has a 10th level intellect. He's like the brainiac when it comes to like hip hop. So I will ask him questions. I'll be like, yo, man, like, what about this guy? When did he fart last? And you'll be like, yo, 1997. He had beans.
Yo, you stupid.
And I'll be like, yo, when was the last time like Jay-Z licked an ice cream cone? And be like, yo, it was like yesterday, kid. Yeah. But like, so when you do these sort of things, I think to the average listener, to the hip hop head, they probably already know what you're championing, right? To someone who doesn't know anything about this, like the art of hip hop, like I feel like a little more expounding is necessary, and I like poking you a little bit just to try and because I feel like you don't talk about it all that much on the show.
I will
Definitely
say,
doesn't.
like that's why I do those music
like,
episodes
you
because it gives me a chance.
you rarely like go into like the deep cuts of like, yo, like this producer fucking
Like I've seen
literally
it and I respect it. So I'm
licked
like,
the track.
I want to thank you, Bo, for that. It means a lot. What I will try to do is look for the documentary by Ninth Wonder about sampling.
All right, you've said enough. All right, man.
So, all right. Like I said, I just want to champion The Fade out by Ed Brubaker, Sean Phillips, Wax Only YouTube channel by Power 106
Did you
Los
only
Angeles.
champion things that deal with like music terms? Like I want to champion the fade out. I want to champion wax.
No,
only.
but I
want to
should have said
champion.
yes. We've got a few emails and a few voicemails I want to get around to playing, and I definitely want to give these folks their spotlight. This is already a pretty long episode, so hopefully you guys are enjoying it. But you know what? It's been a minute, so I'm glad to go a little longer.
We back.
Our first email is from a Christian Purser, who's a new emailer. Shouts to Christian. It's a Dark Phoenix review, so I'll try to chime in. I don't believe there's any spoilers, but honestly, who gives a shit?
like no one, really,
I just had to say it.
Like no one's been.
Well, let me go ahead and pay respect because there might be some folks who want to go see it.
Really?
Spoiler warnings regarding Dark Phoenix in 3, 2, 1. It's an email. I read through it. I don't think there's any big spoilers, but
All right,
just
here
a
we
heads
go.
up. Good.
So I saw the Dark Phoenix the other night, and I don't think it's as terrible as everyone is making it out to be. It's not terrific, and it's not horrible. It's just okay. I feel like it's getting the same rep Venom had before its release. I thought Venom was going to be mediocre, but I was entertained by it, and it surprised me. Prior to watching Dark Phoenix, I had a bad feeling in my gut that I was going to hate this movie. The X-Men films, for the most part, have been mediocre and don't really age well. Originally, I wasn't even going to watch the film, but then I had a revelation. I realized this franchise had been around since 1999/2000. That's almost 20 years.
Yeah.
Although most of them have been stinkers, with the exception of Deadpool, Logan, First Class, and Days of Future Past, at least in my opinion, these films and franchise have played a big part of my life. One could make the argument that if it wasn't for the success of the first X-Men film, we wouldn't have any Marvel films following after that. 89 Batman, but whatever. FF, Spider-Man trilogy, etc. This franchise has been around longer than the MCU, and I don't think people realize that. Sure, the timeline was a horrible mess, but at least Fox stuck through it. Without those stinkers, we wouldn't have the gems, Deadpool, Logan, that came out of it. Ooh. The one thing that I'm going to miss about is the cast, both original and new. I will miss actors like Hugh Jackman, Patrick Stewart, Ian McKellen, Halle Berry, James McAvoy, Michael Fassbender, etc. Dark Phoenix, whether you enjoyed the film or not, is truly the end of an era. It's the final nail in the coffin to a 20-year franchise, and while it wasn't spectacular or triumphant, it's important in the sense of history of superhero cinema. The next X-Men film will not bear the 20th Century Fox logo, but instead it will bear the Marvel Studios and Disney logo. Can't wait to see what Disney and Marvel Studios does with the future of the X-Men and Fantastic Four.
All right.
Thank you, Christian.
Yeah, let me go say thank you, Christian, for your for the
Appreciate
input.
you.
I was
do
waiting
appreciate
for you, like, thank you,
All right.
Christian, for your bullshit email. No,
Just because of time constraints, none of you have seen it, right?
no.
Okay.
I don't care.
Let me. Damn, I feel like I've got some shit to say, man. okay, I agree. It is. I forgot about the whole timeline. It has been, 19, 20 years? Mm-hmm. And that's what makes me upset. Is like, for 20 years, I've had to put up with mediocre...
With shit X-Men
movie. And that's not what I want to celebrate. Like, I get it. Like, that is impressive. And I think a lot of people forget that Fox has been doing, superhero movies longer than MCU. But there's a reason why we champion MCU more or talk about it more. Because to go toe for toe, MCU's got them beat. Mm-hmm. I think as far as like better movies. Mm-hmm. This movie was not the capstone I wanted or we deserved as X-Men fans or comic book fans. What the oh man.
First off, I want to say
Shay, I got to interrupt you real quick. Only because
son.
Only because that's X-Men animated series news made me so like nostalgic about it. It's like, yo, the X-Men mean something, and this movie just felt so. It felt like it did not feel like a capstone or a milestone moment. It felt like some random movie. It was like, what did I watch?
So the problem is that I agree with Christian. You have great actors. Michael Fassbender, Sir Ian McKellen, Sir Patrick Stewart.
Put that
all these people
on that name.
You know what I'm saying? Ooh. You have all these great actors.
Yeah.
And they shit the bed with the script.
Yo.
Like, it's like you have these people who are so good. And come on, like, man. Why? Like, why? What a waste. That's what it feels like. It doesn't feel like, oh, I'm disappointed because this X-Men movie's like, they fucking let me down, man. My life. What am I going to do with my... No, man, I'm going to go home, eat a roast, fuck my wife, period, dot. This is not going to mess with me in any sort of way.
Nope.
Here's the problem. It's just a waste. It was a waste. It's a waste. Like, it's like, what a waste of talent. Oh, man, I don't know. Now, I will say, like, X-Men 1 and 2, like, they're just okay. They're not fucking amazing. They're still good. It's like when people are like, yo, like...
X2 was solid to me.
Yeah, man, that
X2,
Nightcrawler opening is still, like,
X2,
the highness.
Right. Like, all these movies have, like, cool scenes. They got cool scenes. But, like, are they all good? Like, is every scene good in the movie?
No, man.
Nah. Bobby, have you tried not being a mutant? Like, it's fucking stupid.
And the other thing, I think that taints the legacy, because hearing him write that in the email, 19, 20 years, I think the thing that taints the legacy is that even Fox at some point was like, let's just do a fresh restart,
Yeah.
And to me, that kind of speaks volumes. Marvel, the MCU has had some bad movies, but they've still been like, look, we have a vision, we have a goal. This was just a hiccup. We got a bigger goal. It never felt that way with the MCU. It never felt like we were getting some bigger. With the X-Men movie, it never felt like we were getting some bigger interconnected story. Even though they tried, it felt like they tried. And then Dark Phoenix mentions Apocalypse. Like it's like, so wait, is it supposed to be a continuation?
So I don't think we can fault
the
X-Men movies to a point. Don't fault them until the Marvel Cinematic Universe started coming out, right? Mm-hmm. So, like, because before then they were still kind of trailblazing, and superhero movies weren't that cool, and not everybody had accepted them. I mean, you just got to look at the X-Men uniforms as examples, right? They're still trying to make them look like the Matrix, as opposed to like, well, yeah, now superhero movies are mainstream and everybody's cool with them because you see Thor's wearing fucking primary colors, and like you just watch Ragnarok. That thing looks like Bob Ross's palette just threw up over everything. Like, it's really colorful and bright. I don't think we can fault the X-Men movies to a point. But after, like, it was obvious that, hey, we're cool with seeing people in spandex. Like, game on. Like, you can show a movie where fucking Wolverine is wearing a damn yellow unitard with like the blue shoulder pads. You could show a movie with Scott Summers wearing that penis outfit, with like, what I'm saying? Like, you could, I do too.
Same.
Awesome.
You could do that. It's a matter of them not doing it, and it's not like, oh well, I don't know if the actors could throw it that curveball. Look at who we just listed. Look at who Christian just listed in the email. Like
serious,
heavy hitters.
I was. I'm just gonna kind of breeze through.
Also, Logan was fucking awesome.
Yeah, like the ones he pointed out, I was like, oh yeah, Deadpool, Logan, X-Men, First Class. The thing with Dark Phoenix, like I said, it didn't feel like the proper goodbye. It felt, I think this was like a different director or writer from the other ones. So even that felt a little jarring, where it's like, this doesn't match tonally what I've been watching.
The X-Men movies feel like the Star Wars prequels.
Yo.
Like really cool ideas.
Just
some
not
scenes are awesome, but like as a whole, dog shit.
Horribly executed.
Yeah.
I feel as though that this is a eulogy. Like that Christian just had like it's a eulogy. Like we want to remember it. Like it was a shit person, but
Yo,
it
all right,
was
so
our
yeah,
it was our shit
what
person.
Christian did right. This movie wasn't as bad on its own. If you look at it standalone, it's like, okay, this was a bad movie, but not as shit.
If it was not called X-Men,
but
it would've been fine.
Because I'm looking at it, at least me, through the lens of this is the last movie of this 19-20-year franchise. I have to look at it like pretty holistically and a little more harsh. So I'll just say that. And if you ever see me in the streets, I'll tell you more about why I did not fuck with Dark Phoenix. But thank you so much, Christian, for hitting us up. Look, so, just how it is. We do got another email. Let's see. Do me the favor. Another new email or two.
All right. This one is from Justin Lane, 30. Hello, guys. It's Justin, a.k.a. Justin I'm Famous on Instagram. Justin _ I'm Famous on Instagram. First off, I love the podcast. Absolutely incredible. Keep at it and don't stop.
Thank you.
Then, second, I'm a growing internet personality in Jacksonville who's looking to spread positivity, great content, and local music with my own podcast. But I have no idea where to start. So if you guys can offer any advice or pro tips to help get me started, I'd appreciate it greatly. Thank you so much, Shortbox team. It's from Justin.
Shout out, Justin.
Hey, thanks.
I like the
Justin,
goal.
for the email.
perfect segue.
Into what?
What you got?
Here's what I'll say, Justin, because that is a loaded question. Definitely one that, just for time constraints, I don't know if I'd be able to fully go. It's a complex answer, too.
Mm-hmm.
So here's what I'll say. I'll say two things. One, we're hosting a podcaster meetup here in town for all the Jacksonville podcasts, which is a lot of podcasts out there. So I think you'd benefit from coming to it. It's taking place at Rain Dogs Tuesday, June 25th from 6 to 8 p.m. We started this series of meetups to answer and help people like yourself who are looking to podcasting that don't quite know where to start or might have a hiccup or two or something they want to kind of flesh out. So I invite you and anyone else really that's interested in podcasting or the Jacksonville podcaster scene to show up June 25th at Rain Dogs Tuesday, 6 to 8 for our Jax Podcaster meetup. And I'll also say this, Justin, as part of Patreon, and this is definitely a shameless plug, but what I'm going to start doing is recording a one-off series where I'm going to give a little more background into the process of like what I do and we do here at the Short Box pertaining to the equipment we use, recording, kind of how we go about show notes, live shows, kind of like a behind the scenes for the Short Box. So that might be something you might look into. I think I'm going to ramp that up either later this month or July. So be on the lookout for that.
Butter, it's not shameless if it's on your own show.
Oh, okay. Well, look, plug. Shaggy, do you have one piece of advice that you'd like to share? I know that's a little limiting, but
Yeah, no, because due to time constraints, all I'm gonna say is, man, keep at it. I've been at it for years, off and on, but it never stops. No matter how many listeners, no matter how many hiccups you have, keep doing what you're doing. Don't stop, man. Don't get discouraged.
that's a good point. I mean, that's always been my my recommendation is consistency. Consistency is going to feel like you're like, man, what the hell am I recording for? But you definitely got to love what you do. So, and like I said, we could definitely talk a little more if you do decide to show up for the meetup. I've got 2 voicemails to play, and then we'll go ahead and wrap this up. Our first voicemail, hopefully it actually works. Our first voicemail is from John Luna. All right, and let's see. Come on, work for me, baby.
Shortbox crew, it's Luna checking in. It has been a busy couple weeks. You guys are throwing down some flaming content.
Yeah.
It's been awesome. The Avengers event, congratulations. I mean, I don't need to tell you that. Everyone's been telling you that. So kudos. Great job. Everything went together flawless. Of course, the movie was fantastic. I didn't get a chance to meet any of you guys because I came in way late, and Botter, you were in a meditative zone. You were zenning out, so the last thing I wanted to do was break your concentration. But again, fantastic work. Ashley, congratulations on the book. So sorry I couldn't be at the premiere yesterday, but adulting. Everybody's got to do it, I guess. I hope you guys are doing well. I'm looking forward to the next episode, and keep on keeping on. Talk to you guys later.
So obviously, that voicemail was sent late April. So we're just kind of getting we got, like I said, a kind of back catalog. So, but we did end up meeting John.
We did
at the Creep Show event.
Yep,
and he was awesome.
Nice guy.
I think he was in me and Malcolm were standing in the corner like two upstanding black gentlemen.
You were. I can attest for that.
Yeah, for real. No,
like we were sitting.
I
think John was in front of me, and I'm trying to keep my blackness level down and most of the times because I was like, yo, because we was drinking obviously, so I was like, yo, man, this is. And he was sitting there cracking up. And I'm like, you look familiar, man, because I think he follows me on Twitter. So I'm like, hey, man, you look like somebody I know.
Oh, God bless social
It was
media.
like I was like, you look like somebody I know, and I was scared to ask him because I don't want to say like, yo, if I'm wrong, I don't want to be all white people look alike. But I was just like, yo,
I would have loved if he would have flipped that on you, like, wow, really?
dude, that's why I was. That's why I avoided it.
Huh?
That's why I avoided it. But when you said he was there, I was like, bet. So I can say it a little bit more confidence and bass in my voice.
Yeah,
John, it was a pleasure.
Yeah, for real.
Even running into you.
Yeah, shout out, John. Thank you for the kind words. We got one more email in this from Blake. Ooh, why did you go all the way to the end? Yo, come on, yo. Hold up. Bear with me. Okay, there we go. Yo, just play the voicemail. All right. Yo, Blake, did you send me like some it's like weird voicemail? Hold up.
Trojan worm.
Yeah. Eat your... Oh, man. All right, here we go. I have no idea what's going on. Let me play his other one. Okay.
Hey, Short Box. Blake from Comics Generally. First, I was calling to say May 4th, so may the Force be with you for all you Star Wars. Second, Happy Tree Comic Book Day. So I'm driving back from Cleveland, Ohio to Chicago, Illinois. I was out there. We were doing our live podcast at Carol and John's Free Comic Book Day. So hope that comes out pretty well. You guys get to enjoy it when you get to listen to it. But I just finished the Freddy Shazam. I had a quick thing. I got to say it. I grew up with Star Wars. It was my first connection with my sister and my dad as a kid. I love The Last Jedi, so people can crucify me for that. Second, I'm really just getting burnt out on Star Wars fans' reactions to everything. They're kind of just burning out Star Wars for me, which will never go away. My love will never go away, but I feel like people just gotta, like, chill out, let it roll, and see how it finishes out. But other than that, keep it going, guys. I gotta make this drive back. I got another 3 hours, so take it easy.
Yo, shout out to Blake, man. I'm actually I'm running into the Comics Generally crew, so him and Josh at Heroes Con. So I'm excited to meet them in person. But
cool.
Blake, I think what we talked about as far as like Batman, the Batman casting news, probably applies in this point. Where it's like,
regarding what?
Just as far as like giving shit a shot.
Oh, Star Wars?
I want to say yes.
Fuck Star Wars. No, it does not apply to me. Not to me.
All right, well, all right, I'll echo that. Just okay.
Yeah, no, I'll give a good movie a shot.
Cesar said, "Fuck that."
No, man.
This is why I come here.
I'm just kidding.
Sorry, that's funny shit.
Yeah.
That is funny.
No, I'm not dogging somebody else's having a good time. Like, it sounds like that's what he's talking about. Like, people are.
I do agree.
Like,
Star Wars fans' reactions to be like, "Damn, y'all really hurt."
So, like, I could care less at this point. Like, I don't even have a reaction to have because I'm not interested in where it's going. So it's like, I guess I could say I was never a Star Wars fan.
You were not invested as you once.
No. It's not even that. Like, God damn it!
Yo, every time he tries to leave, you keep pulling him back in.
It's not even that. It's that the reason why the original trilogy are good is because they're good movies.
Yeah.
Period. They're good movies. Period. It's not because they're Star Wars. It's because they're good movies. These movies, it seems like they're shit, but everybody's going to see them because they're Star Wars.
Yep.
So I mean, and I'm not like, hey, if you like them, good. That's all. I just don't. But I'm not going to be like, ugh, unsubscribe. You know, I'm not going to be that guy that's going to go in there and just be like, well, you shouldn't like Star Wars because this, and this. You know, hey, like, have fun. Watch what you watch. I support, you know, just don't expect to see me next to you in the theater.
Yep.
That's all. I'll buy you popcorn. I'll get you a hot dog. I'll wait for you outside. You know, I'll pick you up.
I ain't even doing that.
Damn, son.
Nah, son.
Damn.
I ain't doing that.
All right. Well,
You can enjoy it. I'm good.
All right.
I'm
Well,
okay.
well, Blake, I'll go watch it with you. All right, Shaggy.
That's a fucking lie. I sat next to you in The Last Jedi. We were both like, what the fuck?
There was definitely times I was like,
this shit is boring as shit.
I kept looking at see like, is this part of the trilogy?
I was like, is this really happening?
World
Blake, I'll buy you a shot afterwards. Because you're going to need it, bro.
That's funny. All right, man. That is the end of our episode. Thank you guys so much for sticking around with us. Like I said, man, it's been a minute since we've all kind of been around the table. And Shaggy, man, I appreciate you stepping in.
Anytime,
I know this wasn't planned, but
anytime.
Really appreciate it.
Always.
So before we wrap up, shout outs and plugs, do you guys got anything going on? Anything you guys want to mention or highlight before we sign out? See, you got anything going on?
Not as of yet.
Okay. All right. Word. Shaggy?
I will say this. The new season of my podcast, Drunken Hospitality, should be coming out very soon. It's an episode I'm proud of, so I'm going to be looking forward to that. So,
if it's the episode you were telling us about,
yeah, I was.
I'm excited for it.
And
kudos on you for that.
Thanks, man.
It's a good interview.
Just
so for people who don't know, explain a little bit about Drunken Hospitality.
Drunken Hospitality is the art of the drunken conversation, my friend. So it's just me interviewing either a person or persons over drinks. You don't have to drink if you don't want to, but I'm not going to stop me. So
I'm gonna use that.
Yeah,
I'm gonna use that.
So I'm
good.
Yeah, I'm gonna sit there and I time that and I just ask them questions. Nothing disrespectful, off the wall. I mean, if it can go that way, it goes that way. And I normally don't do that. It'd be the alcohol that do that. But that's the type of things. It's just really just shooting the shit, man.
All right. Check it out. I've got a couple things, long-winded me. First of all, Patreon. We got a Patreon. Patreon.com/theshortbox. I do want to say to our existing...
Give us money.
To our existing patrons, it's almost time to vote for our next Artist Spotlight episode. I'll have that poll up here shortly. And for those of you interested in exclusive and unreleased episodes, we've got about 10, I believe, maybe even 13, actually, episodes in the vault that are only available to Patreon members, and there's plenty of tiers, so, I mean, you don't have to break the bank to support us and help us out. I mean, anything you give is much appreciated. It all goes back into the show. Just check us out is all I ask. Go to patreon.com, search The Short Box, or just go patreon.com/theshortbox. What I am going to do, starting this episode, is every Sunday I'm going to announce a raffle winner for anyone signed up on Patreon. So it doesn't matter what tier you're in. I'll have a prize every week. So the first winner will be announced this coming Sunday, the 16th, which is also Father's Day. I'll have a prize for everyone that signed up for Patreon. It's going to be Into the Spider-Verse Blu-ray DVDs. So if you are a member of Patreon, you'll be entered automatically. If you want to join Patreon and be a part of the contest, feel free to. But every Sunday, I'll have a different raffle and a different prize. I also want to say next weekend, you can catch myself, Ashley, and Drew at Heroes Con, taking place in Charlotte, North Carolina. A really spectacular comic book convention for those of you who have never been. It's definitely all comic book focused and a lot of love at that con. We're actually doing an animation panel with Bob Camp and Rick Parker Friday at 4:30 p.m. So come on out if you plan on going to Heroes Con. Let's see. GAM. They're also doing their Space GAM show. So the big summer GAM show, the big ones that you see like pictures of like crazy ass, parties and tons of people and having a good time. It's taking place August 17th. You can buy your tickets on Eventbrite.com by searching GAM show or Space GAM, or going to the Facebook page at I Love GAM, GAAM, by the way. Tickets are starting at $20, and according to Ryan, they will go up as the show gets closer. So go buy your tickets now, Eventbrite.com, or the Facebook page, I Love GAM. I already mentioned the podcaster meetup taking place at Rain Dogs, Tuesday, June 25th, 6 to 8. And lastly, Happy birthday once again to Matt Stinson, man. Oh, okay. That's what you're pointing at. So anyways, man, thank you guys so much for rocking with us. If you are not subscribed to the show already, hit that subscribe button on your favorite podcast app. We're on Spotify, Apple Music, or Apple iTunes. We're on Stitcher, SoundCloud. We'll be making a move to Buzzsprout here in the next week or two, so it should be easier to get our episodes a little more consistently and better. I know some people
will be getting a MySpace page.
Yo,
so,
that'd be wild. So check us out. And once again, thank you guys for hitting us up. And if you want to have your comment championed or gripe or review shared, shoot us an email at theshortboxjacks@gmail.com or leave us a voicemail at 904-580-4095. Yeah, 580-4095, right? That being said, folks, we're going to call this episode a wrap. Thank you so much for listening. Bye.
Yo, what happened to peace?
Peace.